All right. What's up, perps? So I figured we go live for a little while. Wife's getting home a little later tonight. I wasn't planning on going live, but I figured we'd go ahead and roll it. Give it a minute, see who all comes in, because looks like tonight's another one of those nights where YouTube probably won't alert anybody, no matter how long they've been following me. So we'll give it just a couple, see who shows up. It's just kind of a chill out stream. There's Lightning. DJ, what's up? My brothers, how you guys doing tonight? We got a couple guys checking in. Sweet. There's DB Cooper checking in. What's up, DB? You got the notice? Damn, good deal. Typically, when I set up a stream, I can go on another browser and look at YouTube, and I'll see my stream pop up. But today when I did it, I didn't see it. So I didn't know what was going to show. Anyway, it's been hot. I'm tired, and I figured we'd hang out for a little while and shoot the breeze and watch some Uncle Sniffy. Because boy, oh boy, that debate night. Yeah, let's just put that there on the table. Which I really think, guys, that all this is. I really think this started during the Her report. When the Her report said that, he thought Joe Biden was a sympathetic old man with a bad memory. I really think this started there. And this is all kind of a setup leading into Biden stepping down and really, I think, Newsom taking over. Someone had a good point that to keep the woman vote and all that they'd probably try to throw in Whitmer. I could see that. And part of the reason I don't think it really matters is I think they've already figured out that they got the fix in for this election anyway. So it really doesn't matter what they do. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see how everything shakes out. It is what it is. Let's see. Let me show something real fast. The day after the debate, which one is it? I know it's one of them. Okay, here it is. So the day after the debate, this ad started popping up in my shorts feed. And you guys tell me
Folks,
what
I
you
hope
think.
I made you proud in that debate stage. It was a real battle, but it's never been more important to call him out for overturning Roe, for trying to make billionaire friends of his richer at your expense, and for the profound threat he poses to democracy. Now, I know I ask a lot of you, but I'm relying on your support to keep fighting back against Donald Trump, to keep building on our historic progress. So if you can, chip in today. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. It makes a difference.
So yeah, there's that. And then that one little clip right there, you could probably count nothing less than 6 edits. Trying to polish a turd, basically, which is kind of funny. Now, he spoke a little bit at a event right after the debate, which Jill Biden did more of the speaking than he did. And then he did a rally in North Carolina the next day. The North Carolina rally is what I want to watch. Joe Biden is decent at a speech given somewhere right along the lines of 20 minutes or under. And that's about what this is. Jill Biden spoke a lot. The governor of North Carolina spoke a lot. There's another guy spoke a lot. So the rally took a long time, but really and truly, Joe Biden's only there for just a little bit. So let's pull that. And then at the end of it, honestly, you guys tell me what you think, or should we do the end of it first and then watch the start of it? What? Which one is it? This one? Oh yeah, the time of day definitely matters. So this is we'll flip to the end, and I want you guys to see something, and then we'll listen to the whole speech.
God protect our troops. Let's go get them, North Carolina.
All right, and we're going to flip to the start of it. What I wanted to show you there is as he goes off waving around on stage, and then Jill Biden still has to come get him. Now, if you guys saw hell, that stream I did the other day, it was long as shit. It was like 7 hours. When we finally got to the CNN coverage, you see Trump walk off stage just tooling. You see Jill Biden go get President Biden, help him down one stair, holding on to him so he can make it down one stair. And then he goes and mumble raps to the moderators of the debate. And apparently they stopped by a Waffle House after that. So go figure. He didn't walk in any Waffle House I've ever been in, that's for sure, because they had to throw his ass out on his fucking head. So all right, let's listen to his speech here. Let's make this bigger. You guys let me know where the audio is good.
Thank you, North Carolina.
Yeah, at least we beat Medicare. Chessboard, what's up, brother?
My back. I apologize. It's good.
Not to mention the fact he uses that line in about every prepared speech that he's given, because they try to stack people up behind him to make it look like there's this ton of people at his rallies. Yeah, there really ain't. But remember, this is the day after the debate. I can't remember what time of the day it was, but it was early in the day after the debate.
Good to have my back. Eric, thanks for that introduction. We had a wonderful time spending time with your sons, Kristen and Carter. They're going to grow up to be incredible young men. You would have been really impressed the way they talked about their dad, how informed they were about what was going on. I was truly impressed. I ate 2 hamburgers. A special thanks to Roy and Kristen Cooper. Roy, you've been a great governor.
Roy hadn't been worth his shit.
Which makes it all the more important that North Carolina elected great governor to replace you, Josh Stein. And when I'm reelected again with your help, I want you to know that I'm not promising not to take Roy away from North Carolina. Where they're coming out, I don't know.
You think, and I didn't catch that when I breezed to this before. You think when he's talking about taking him out of North Carolina, that could possibly be his new VP? Well, if Biden stays in, could that possibly be Biden's new VP? Because they could wipe Kamala out at any time. Be like, nope, you ain't got a job no more. Now, I'll say this. I fully expect Biden to go to the DNC. I've said it a few times already. I fully expect him to release his delegates. Fully expect Newsom to come in. Now, I couldn't put my finger on who maybe Newsom would bring in with him. But the more I look at the way that Whitmer is sticking up for Biden, I think it could possibly be Whitmer. And they move her in as VP. And then Kamala possibly moves back to California and tries to run for governor of California. That's the way I see this playing right now. My father-in-law completely disagreed with me this afternoon when I was talking to him. Talking about, no, there's no way they could replace Kamala, and kind of doubted whether Biden would step down. If all these people will vote for Biden, knowing he's an absolute potato, it doesn't matter who is there. It doesn't matter who is in office, who they're putting in front of them. Pretty well think they already know the fix is in. So it doesn't matter what they do. They just have to go through a couple of steps, Biden releasing delegates, and they'll have to shoot a bunch of money through a bunch of super PACs to fund Newsom. And I think they are already 100% sure that the vote's already fixed. If they keep Biden in, there's no doubt they think the vote's already fixed. If they switch to Newsom, someone else, it's really not going to matter. It's the same damn thing. They're just looking at this next term and what they will have to do this next term to actually maintain power. So that's where I think it's sitting. Outlaw, what's up, my brother? What you doing? Yeah, Lightning Scott, 81 million votes last time. Yes, my big old butt. Being as polite as I can possibly be. Yeah, you're trying to tell me this potato got more votes running from his basement than Obama did when Obama was running, holding huge rallies and getting built up by the media the whole time as this great orator and great speaker. Same thing. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
And thanks to all the state and local leaders here today, the great musicians and entertainers who performed earlier. Folks, let me tell you why I'm here in North Carolina. I'm here for what?
I'm trying to interrupt this rally, probably about Palestinian horseshit. But yeah, you're right, Vicky. What's your point? Biden has immunity. As long as he's acting in official capacity, he has immunity. That's the way it's worked for every president since the United States was founded. And every one of our presidents have done some really dirty shit that they probably could have gone to prison for, but they claim immunity. So it doesn't freaking matter. It honestly doesn't. But look at the stuff now. If you're paying attention, so Georgia finally got off their ass and looked at some stuff, and they're finding thousands of votes that either don't match rolls or signatures were off. Then they lost records for thousands of votes. But what you see in a lot of other states is they have basically voted to cement mail-in ballots and voted to cement more drop boxes. Pennsylvania is one that's gone through that. Michigan's one who's gone through that. They have cemented what they did in 2020. They've just glued the shit out of it and turned it into a brick wall for 2024. So I have no faith in these people. You'll hear blips every now and then. There was a truck driver who said that he drove votes from New York into Pennsylvania. That got investigated. And what they found out is, since he was working for the feds, his truck was GPS tracked. He was running logbooks, and he was exactly where he said he was the entire time with what he said he had. And that whole story just gets swept under the rug. Nothing gets said about that. So, yeah. Let me kill my can and see what I can.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm here in North Carolina. signed it for one reason.
To lie to you.
I intend to win this state in November. Well, you're going to see that. I think we are. And Roy's right. We win here, we win the election. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to stand up for the women of America. We're going to restore the law of the land. We're going to stand up for the right to vote. We're going to stand up for Medicare and Social Security. We're going to fight for child care, paid leave, and elder care. We're going to keep lowering the cost of prescription drugs, not just for seniors, but for every single American.
And that is how you put companies out of business. And then instead of reducing the cost of drugs, you completely destroy the supply of drugs in the first place so that no one can get them. These idiots won't tell you. So these corporations, these drug companies, are worldwide. So when all of these other countries price fix, they push the cost of that off on Americans, and that's why our cost is so high. So if you price fix again, keep them from being able to make a profit, they go out of business, and then you don't have any insulin. What, my child?
What was mac and cheese? And I know you don't have time to cook it, so can I cook it?
No, you guys leave everything alone. Okay. One car, what's up, my brother? Weekend at Joe's? Yeah. Fucking 1,000%.
We're going to keep protecting the Affordable Care Act, which is why more than 40 million Americans have health insurance today. We're going to protect our children and get the weapons of war off our streets.
So Joe mentions this in this speech, but all of us pretty much noticed Joe had his Surgeon General come out and say some stuff about guns basically the day before his debate, and then he didn't say anything about them in the debate. And the Biden campaign completely controlled the topics for the debate. Biden and them know, unless he's in front of a completely Democrat-friendly crowd, that talking about guns is a losing issue. It's typically why anytime he speaks about them, he's going to be in front of a completely Democrat crowd, or you'll see any announcements come out of the Office of Gun Violence Prevention horseshit. Because he knows it's a losing issue. It's a freaking dog, and he knows it. If it was such a huge issue for the Biden administration, why were they not talking about that Thursday night during the debate, hammering Trump, NRA? And you can look at the bingo cards I made up. I completely expected that to come up. I did not expect for them to completely leave it off the table.
We're going to provide clean drinking water, affordable high-speed internet, quality education for every child in America.
Well, we don't have quality education for any children in America right now.
Our border and protect legal immigration. And unlike the other guy, we're going to stand up to dictators like Putin, because America bows to no one ever.
I got to let this play some more, but some of this shit just, again, annoys the shit out of me, because he has done everything in his power to make it easier for people like Putin and Iran and their whole mullahs and all of them to just run over everything. And people say, oh, he's funding the war in Ukraine. He's making a lot of military contractors a hell of a lot of money, but he hadn't done shit with Putin. And Putin is the guy you have to deal with. So that someone Photoshop a big dildo in his hand right there. It'd be hysterical. Where's the man against the masses when you need him?
Folks, and we're going to keep dealing with the climate crisis.
So pretty much anytime you hear them start cranking up the 4 more years, someone was trying to interrupt the rally. That's the way they do it. It's the way Trump does it. It's fucking clapping seals in the background at this point.
More than anything, we're going to preserve, protect, and defend our democracy.
That line should piss everybody off.
It's more than anything else. That is what is at stake in America this election. Your freedom, your democracy.
Now, understand, and again, I got to let this play some more. I got to shut my fat ass mouth sometimes. But when they're talking about democracy and we have to save this democracy, they are talking about mob rule, where the NPCs, the non-playable characters, the ones who aren't informed, have all the freaking power, and they're just nothing but useful idiots for the power of the state. So anytime they say we have to defend our democracy, they are not lying to you. They want the democracy. They hate the fact that we're supposed to be a republic. If you listen to these people, they tell you the game every single time.
America itself is at stake. Now, folks, I don't know what you did last night, but I spent 90 minutes on the stage debating the guy who has the morals of an alley cat. Did you see Trump last night? My guess he said, I mean sincerely, a new record for the most lies told in a single debate.
But NBC was fact-checking Biden and pretty much proved he lied at every single turn. NBC was doing that. And Joe Biden talking about someone had the morals of an alley cat. Him and Jill got together when Jill was still married and he was babysitting Joe Biden's kids. They completely ruined a marriage. Joe Biden has been accused of sexual assault on many occasions, and that shit gets swept under the rug. I've heard stories about where a Secret Service agent was going to knock his fucking block off for grabbing the Secret Service wife's breast at a Christmas party. And that they couldn't leave female Secret Service agents with him because he liked swimming naked and doing all kinds of stuff in front of them. This guy calling someone out for their morals is absolutely hysterical.
He lied about the great economy he created. He lied about the pandemic he botched, killing millions of people. He closed businesses. He closed schools.
Bitch, he got fired.
Losing their homes, people all over this country. America was flat on its back. So I told Trump that it was just one of two presidents in American history who left office with fewer jobs than he started. Herbert Hoover was the other one. That's why I call him Donald Herbert Hoover Trump.
You know, I got to clock it and see, but I'm pretty sure that is one of the first times I've heard Joe Biden use that line. And the funny thing is, of course, yes, the economy was tanking before Trump left because he'd made some really bad decisions during COVID. And the governments, especially the state governments, Democrat state governments, shut people's lives down. They shut their businesses down. There were tons of people who lost their livelihoods due to the regulations put in place by Democrat governments. So, of course, jobs dropped. The only jobs government can create is government jobs. Now, when they get off the back of industry and people who are willing to make companies and hire people, when they get out of their way, those private citizens create jobs. The thing is, a lot of the jobs Joe Biden has bragged about creating are all part-time jobs and normally taken by illegal immigrants. It's not your average American getting the jobs. Oh, the freaking man, the economy's so trash right now, it's not even funny. In the last couple of years, this is the first time in my life, I'm 47, it's the first time in my life where I have seen stores do what you call front-loading shelves to make it seem like they have more product than they do. Or instead of having product on the shelf, they put advertisements up on the shelf to advertise for the products to fill shelf space because they don't have the actual products on the shelf. And there have been many times, and it still happens, where go to the store looking for something, a store that normally had these things, and you can't fucking find them. Not to mention just the prices alone. I'm old enough to remember when I could go to Burger King in the morning and get a biscuit, a large coffee, large hash brown, and an orange juice for about $6. That same thing right now is costing me 10 to 11 bucks depending on where I stop. Not to mention the gas prices, not to mention the grocery prices when I go to the grocery store, where it costs me double what it costed me 4 or 5 years ago. But these clapping seals behind this absolute potato screaming 4 more years ought to be enough to make anybody sick.
And then he lied about how great he was for veterans. But then I told him how he had called a veteran and given their lives in the country in World War I and refused to go to the grave sites. He called them suckers and losers.
That has been absolutely busted so many times it's not even funny from everybody who was actually there. But hey, Joe Biden gets to stand up there and lie dead to your face as the active president of the United States, and nothing will ever happen to him. So when people run around talking about Trump's immunity, I don't give a shit. These people lie to your face all the damn time. He's lying to your face now. Yeah, I mean, at least with potatoes, what was the line? You can boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. You know, unless he ran into the cannibals that he said ate his uncle or some shit like that. Hey, baby, you out of the store yet? So yeah, unless he ran into the cannibals that ate his uncle, then you can't boil this guy, mash him, or stick him in a stew. He is sitting in a corner most of the time eating goddamn Jello. That's the way this dude rolls. Thorazine patients aren't as slow as this guy. All right, well, then I'm assuming you're on your way home then, babe. Or unless you got another stop to make. Either way, be careful.
He tried to deny it. Let me ask you, are you going to believe a 4-star Marine general, his own former chief of staff, John Kelly, who said he said that? Or the disgrace defeating a lying Donald Trump?
Artak, what's up, my brother? How you and your daughter doing?
My son was one of those people. Not in World War I, but in the big. Folks, look, how about the fact that 44...
You don't eat meat fried fruitcakes? Oh, hell yeah.
How about the fact... That's okay.
Cannibals ain't big on vegetables either.
How about the fact that 40 out of his 44 top advisors, including the vice president, aren't supporting him this time around? The people know him best. 40.
Okay, here's something. One car brings up. So all these generals are politically appointed. What do you think happened after COVID when they got rid of a bunch of these people? Part of why were they so mad at Tommy Tuberville? Because Tommy Tuberville was holding up all of their political appointments for the military. All these generals, all these people he was holding up, they were so pissed they couldn't get him in there. It wasn't even funny because now we've got people in charge of the military. There's what, 3 of them that don't realize that they're men and they're dressing as women completely out of the closet as transgender. So there's that. We don't have war fighters, actual war fighters in control of our military anymore. Once you get past some kind of lower level officers, especially some guys that got actually, one was the Green to Gold program that came from actual war fighters and then went into the officers. You don't have anything other than political leadership. That's it.
Said, I will not support the man I work for this time around. It tells you a lot about the person who knows him. Look, he lied about how great he was on crime. I had to remind him that he oversaw a record increase in murder rates in 2020. On my watch, violent crime has hit a 50-year low. There's more to do with 50-year low.
I swear to God, I'm gonna let this play. I swear. But what was happening when that crime spike happened? COVID, all the BLM riots, all the Antifa riots that drove crime through the roof. And who was sitting there bailing these people out? Oh, the Democrats. You want to know what's the biggest thing that's, well, there's a couple big things that have dropped crime stats in the last little while. One is more states have went to constitutional carry. And then in the cities, the police departments aren't arresting people. They aren't charging people, or when they try to, the DAs don't carry on the charges and they let them back out on the street. So you're falsely reporting crime at that point. And it's still funny, no matter which way you slice it. They're talking about this huge drop in crime when more people than ever are firearms owners, more people than ever have purchased more firearms, and now this serious drop in crime. I thought all these firearms were supposed to be driving crime, if you listen to these people. These scary assault weapons and shit like that. Yeah. Chessboard has a very good point. Well, they go to work for corporations. They go to work for news outlets. They get paid to write a bunch of books. It's all political. It's all the narrative. If they will support the narrative, then they're going to be very successful. If they don't support the narrative, there have been a couple of guys, I'd have to go look them up in the last little while, that have actually called the narrative out. Those guys disappear real damn quick. Summer Love was pretty much anarchism, yeah. I was watching live streams, all that shit. That's what I did. I wasn't streaming at the time. Otherwise, I would have done videos on the streams. But yeah, I watch these people. They're freaking so stupid, and they want to do stuff for clout. They videotape themselves firebombing stores, firebombing police cars, looting stores. And I've said it before, I was watching live streams the night that Kyle Rittenhouse stuff happened. I was still listening to it, just got in the shower and heard shots go off, and then got out and had to back the video up some and watched the stuff that night. And then, of course, had to look at his trial. Was like, there's no way. But yeah, they tried putting him in prison forever over that. Weird that 6 Hour won multiple military contracts. Yeah. Especially when their guns really do have a reputation of, I don't know, fucking falling apart. As much as I've loved a couple SIGs that I've shot, I don't trust them. But hey, you know how the M16 became the gun of our military? It was all political. It was being pushed heavily by one general, especially, and I can't remember his name offhand. He's some of the ones that really inflated the reports from the initial uses of the M16 in combat. All right, let me let this play for me. I'm going to mute my damn fat
But
face.
the only convicted criminal on the stage last night was Donald Trump. When I thought about his 34 felony convictions, his sexual assault on a woman in a public place, his being fined $400 million for business fraud, I thought to myself, Donald Trump isn't just a convicted felon. Donald Trump is a one-man crime wave. He's got more trials. He's got more trials coming up. Lock him up. Lock him up. Lock him up. Time for that. Lock him up. Lock him up. Look, the thing that bothers me maybe most about him, he has no respect for women or the law. He doesn't. And then his biggest lie, he lied about how he had nothing to do with the insurrection of January 6th. We all saw with our own eyes. We watched it on television. We saw thousands of insurrection attack.
Again, I got to pause it there too. I watched, again, live streams that entire day. My computer screen had nothing less than 6 to 8 live streams up on it the entire time all the stuff was going on. I saw people peacefully protest. I saw cops really ramp up aggression. I saw people that weren't doing anything get shot in the face with rubber bullets. And I saw a young woman walk past 2 cops and get shot in the throat. And then I saw police open up doors and let people walk through the Capitol in between the velvet ropes, waving flags. One dude was smoking a joint right there in the rotunda, all not acting violent. All of them were being tracked down by our government and thrown in prison. Were there some guys who freaking ramped things up? Yes, there were. But when it came down to it, they were responding to more aggression than they were being the aggressor or aggressor in most cases. It's like the dude they said stole Nancy Pelosi's podium. He took it from one area, walked with it, set it down, walked out. That podium never left the fucking Capitol, and they put this dude in prison for stealing Nancy Pelosi's podium, even though they had all the evidence in the world that said he didn't steal it. And I've read charging documents from a lot of people from January 6th. And understand, when you're reading a document like that, the government is trying to make out their case so they get to inflate everything that happened. So when the most they can come up with is that someone pushed past a police officer, that's not a violent person. Was there a police officer that got his ass slammed kicked? Yes. And there were plenty of protesters out there that stopped people from beating this dude and made sure he made it back to police lines. And to top it off, kids, he was one who started this shit. He might have been one of the ones who shot someone in the face with a rubber bullet. And if you shoot someone in the face with a rubber bullet, guess what? You tend to piss people off. So then if they react to you and you get your ass kicked, you just had that one coming.
The Capitol. We saw police being attacked, the Capitol being ransacked, the mob hunting for Speaker Pelosi, gallows literally set up for Mike Pence. And then he told them as he sat in the dining room, the private dining room, one door off my Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching the TV. He did not a single thing to stop it.
All right. I swear to God, I'm going to let this play. I swear. Donald Trump told people to peacefully protest. He sent out tweets that day telling people to be peaceful. Finally, did a speech telling people to go home, to be peaceful. He requested the National Guard to be there in the first place so that the Fedsurrection couldn't happen. And Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of DC, Bowser, whatever her name is, didn't want the guard there. What happens after that? Oh, they got fencing up around the damn Capitol in no time flat. If you're sitting around believing this was, oh, it's an insurrection, they try to overthrow the government, you are a tool for the government at this point.
Nothing. Nothing at all. And now he wants to pardon all those convicted and criminals. But folks, for all his lies, we learned some important truths about Donald Trump last night.
Please stay tuned as we attempt to commune with the devil.
We learned he's still proud of being the person who killed Roe v. Wade. We learned he's still proud about the pain and cruelties inflicted on America's women.
Yeah, because being responsible for the life that's inside you, that you help create, is just this horrific thing. Okay? And to say that women aren't having third trimester abortions when you have abortion doctors who have literally bragged about partial birth abortions where they have partially delivered the baby, slit their vocal cords before they got them out of the birth canal, and then finished them off. Or Governor Ralph Northam in his famous bullshit interview talking about a baby born during abortion, sit it to the side, let the mother and the doctors discuss it. Why are Democrats, why do they vote down every so-called Born Alive Act that would ensure that if a child is born as a result of a failed abortion, that child would then get medical treatment after it is outside of the mother? Why are they against that? And maybe I'll have to go back and find it. There was a hearing in Congress 2 years ago, I think, with mainly young women who had all been born as basically a product of a failed abortion. There was a huge support group for children that were born like that. And there were nurses that testified what happens in some cases where they just flat out let the baby die. One of the ones who was there, the only reason she survived is because when she was born, there was a nurse there that actually had a fucking soul, and that nurse brought her over to the NICU unit and got her care. Democrats' leftism is the true death cult in the United States. Well, and around the world. That's beside the point.
He still believes that politicians, not doctors and women, should make decisions about the woman's health. We learned that if he's elected again and the MAGA Republicans pass a national ban on abortion, he will sign it.
He never said anything like that.
Donald Trump says he thinks overturning Roe v. Wade was a beautiful thing.
It was a beautiful thing. Roe versus Wade was horrible law. Ruth Bader Ginsburg actually admitted that. Because when it comes down to it, there's nothing in the Constitution that says a woman has a right to an abortion. There are rights to free speech. There are rights to firearms. There are rights to protection from illegal search and seizure. There are rights to not have the military take your homeowner or home over and, put troops in your home. There's rights against incriminating yourself. There's no right in the Constitution that mentions abortion. And if you're not an absolute fucking moron, then you know that a child in the womb is still a human child, and you don't have the right to wrongfully deprive another of life, liberty, or property, even if you're a mother that's paying a doctor to do it for you. Are there cases where the child could be a serious risk to the mother's health and abortion could be warranted? Those cases are so few and far between, they are statistically damn near non-quantifiable. AOC said Roe versus Wade was the only two ways they had to cross the Rio Grande. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. It would fit for her. They got to row the boat, or they just have to wade through the shallow areas. It would fit for her level of fucking intellect. Damn, I was trying to behave, and I had to pop out. See, Chess, you're getting my blood up.
I think it was a nightmare. No, I really mean it. A nightmare. And I made it clear again last night that you elect me and Kamala, you give us a Democratic Congress, we will make Roe v. Wade the law of the land again.
Did he say if you give him a Democrat comma? Was there anything in that debate he made clear besides the fact that he is seriously sundowning?
He continued to lie. He said I quadruple taxes. Where the hell has he been? Which is a simple lie. I didn't raise a tax on anyone in America who they made less than $400,000 a year. And I won't in my second term either.
Right
We
here.
learned that Trump, who had the largest deficit of any president in 4 years because of the $2 trillion tax cut to the super wealthy, we learned that Trump wants to give another giant tax cut for the very wealthy and the big.
Okay, just because we're watching this, and maybe there's someone sitting around who's not chatting who's isn't aware of this, but every time you cut taxes, the government actually takes in more revenue in the form of taxes because there are more people working, more companies are expanding, they're doing more innovation, they're hiring more people, more companies get started. So the government actually takes in more revenue. If you look at Trump and his tax cuts, the government took in more revenue. Then you had COVID and they decided to crank up the fucking money printers and just start printing money out of thin air, which thus drives up the deficit and throws inflation just insanely high. And guess who voted for the money printing and all the other stuff? Democrats. Some Republicans did too, no lie. And they should all be thrown out of office. But Democrats now coming back and talking about the deficit under Trump when they voted for it because Congress controls the purse strings. How absolutely ignorant do you have to be to believe these people? How absolutely ignorant do you have to be to have watched the debate the night before this? And then Joe gets back on a pretty good dose. It's earlier during the day. He's not tired. All of a sudden, he can actually string a sentence together reading off of a teleprompter. And then you think this is the guy who needs to be running the country. Damien, what's up, brother? I was going to say hi to you earlier, and I got started on a rant. No one in their right mind is going to back this dude. But the problem is we have a serious abundance of people who aren't in their right damn minds in this country.
Biggest corporations. This time, 5 $5 trillion. Not a joke. $5 trillion. To pay for it, he's going to cut Medicare and Social Security. He'll cut health care. He'll do it all. Millions of working middle-class Americans all pay for another tax cut for the very wealthy. Then, to add insult to injury, he wants to raise taxes on the average family $2,500 a year. What amounts to a new 10% sales tax on all products imported in America. That's his new plan for food, coffee, candy bars, and so much more. It's going to raise the tax on the average family $2,500 a year. The most dangerous thing, though, we learned that Donald Trump will not respect this year's election outcome. He's still not respecting the last time out. Well, think about it. Every court in man.
You people spent 4 years talking about how Trump was illegitimate. Hillary Clinton saying he stole the election. Stacey Abrams, with a gap between her teeth big enough I could parallel park a bus in it, spent 4 years talking about how Trump was an illegitimate president. And then with the crap that we saw in 2020, although a lot of people in this country have extremely short memories when it comes to this, the crap that we saw, and then all of the stuff that we have found out since then about the cheating, and that has come out in small drips and drabs, especially if you're paying attention to local stuff inside a lot of these states. That election was so skewed it wasn't even funny. But it's okay when you guys lose an election, which Democrats have done in every time a Republicans won, have called it illegitimate. It's okay for you guys to call one illegitimate and talk all this shit the entire time they're in office. But when Trump calls this stuff out, or when we call this stuff out, all of a sudden, oh, you don't respect the election. Nope, especially not after 2020. I don't. And 2022 wasn't any better. So yeah, don't it? What's one of the reasons I've talked about? I'm not voting this year. I'm done. I'm done playing in the system. And I'm not trying to talk anybody out of it. I'm just being honest with you guys on where I am at. Because I watched the cheating. Fulton County. Oh, there was a water main break. It was a leaky fucking toilet. Watch zero accountability for ballots in Georgia. Now it's coming out that there were thousands of fraudulent ballots, and then there are thousands of ballots that they can't even account for because they lost the data. Same thing in Arizona, Maricopa County, and a couple other places where they just suddenly figured out there was cheating, but oh shit. Wait a second. These machines got tampered with somehow, and the information's just been lost. So, yeah, don't oh, fuck, man. This stuff was happening all the way back when shit Nixon, the first time he ran, it's the first time I really heard about basically the ballot harvesting and stuff like that, going back and looking at things. And they said Nixon could have argued that election and didn't. And then, of course, he runs later, he wins. But there's no integrity in our election. When you have Project Veritas goes in and does a video where there are literally like 1,200 people registered to one address. It was a church. And they all got ballots in Georgia. When me and my wife, my wife had not been a Georgia resident for 2 years. I was at about a year and a half for 2020. We both got mail-in ballots to our old address. Not requested. We got mail-in ballots. So if we were the unscrupulous types as is, yeah, I could have filled that thing out for Trump, sent it right in. But I'm not a lying piece of shit. So there you go. All the court cases that came up about the election, a lot of them got thrown out for standing because the judges said, you haven't been harmed yet, So you don't have standing. And then after the election, when they brought the cases back up, the judges said you don't have standing because the harm's already been done. Shows you where our legal system is at, because we don't have a justice system. It's a absolute legal system. Oh man, these people never respect the fact when they lose. But they have cemented everything that went on in 2020. They have cemented that in a lot of states. I will say this: Georgia has done some pretty decent stuff. It looks like to actually work on voter rolls and make sure that everybody who is voting is a resident. But that's getting fought in court too. And I will pretty much guarantee you, especially Fulton County and other places, they will lose in court, and you will have a lot of people that will get mail-in ballots, and ballots will get harvested in Georgia who either are dead, haven't been a resident of Georgia forever, don't even want to vote, and those will go into drop boxes and get counted as legal votes. No signature matching, nothing.
And ruled that it was a fair election. He's still denying it, still telling lies. 3 times Trump was asked last night by the moderators, would he respect the election results if he lost this time? 3 times he refused to answer. 3 times.
No, what he said was, if it is a free, fair, legitimate election, he would respect it, which would be the answer of anybody with any goddamn common sense. What's up, Night Strike? It's so freaking crazy. It really is.
Donald Trump refused to accept the results of 2020. We all saw what happened on January the 6th. It's a direct consequence of that. It was an international embarrassment. By the way, as I go these
it was international embarrassment, all right.
Leader, and I literally, because I've been around, as you might have noticed. But they asked me, did he really mean this? Was this real? It caused the constitutional crisis and international embarrassment. Now, Trump is making it clear that if he doesn't win this time, there will be, in his words, bloodshed.
What's up, everybody? Alina Haba here. I am doing this for the first time.
Trump didn't say if he didn't win, there would be bloodshed. Trump said it would be a bloodbath in the automotive industry if he didn't win. Because all the EV shit you guys are pushing, all the emission standards you're pushing, we're basically going to kill the automotive industry, which is completely true. Don't hold your fucking breath. Just don't.
No president has ever said anything like that. No president. His words, not mine. We're going to let Donald Trump attack our democracy.
Yeah, Mike, you ain't wrong.
I don't think so. Folks.
How much you want to bet? There's 2 reasons that 4 more years chant happens. One, someone tries to interrupt the speech. Typically, right now, it's the Palestinians, and you're killing, or that teleprompter and other things in the room are telling people to start screaming 4 more years. It's like the applause sign on a late night comedy show. He doesn't even have 4 more years to live.
Donald Trump left us. We came out of the pandemic. We're a long way from where Donald Trump telling us to inject bleach in our skin. That COVID is not dangerous.
COVID was never
Today, we have
that
the strongest
dangerous.
economy in the world without exception. 15 million new jobs. 800,000 manufacturing jobs. Unemployment under 4% for a record 2 years in a row.
That's because you're not counting the long-term unemployed who have just quit seeking jobs. How many of us in our normal lives go to stores and you basically can't go anywhere without them needing help at this point? They're begging for people to go to work. Hell, McDonald's and other fast food restaurants were paying bonuses, sign-on bonuses, to get people to come to work. And that was like a year ago. Talk about starting these manufacturing jobs. Those manufacturing plants aren't even built yet, you jackass. You're talking about projected jobs from the CHIPS Act and a few other things. The factories aren't even built yet. Other than that, it's just places that have actually got to start back up and then start employing people. So it's just jobs that were there before COVID that got knocked down. Now they're coming back up. Oh, DB, no, Camel Toe's out. She will be out when Joe Biden's out. So, again, I fully expect Biden to go to the Democrat National Convention, release his delegates, and then step out, pardon honey on his way out. Kamala is leaving with Joe because nobody can stand Kamala. Nobody. There hasn't been a single thing that I've seen going down some really deep rabbit trails where they're talking about, oh, Kamala is so great, man. She's just waiting for Joe to step aside. She's going to take the wheel. Even all your big, really big Democrat think tanks and stuff don't want Kamala. And yeah, she's worthless. And well, I'll try to keep things polite. I don't know whether I'll be to do it, but yeah. Oh, and here we go with my country ass internet connection again. We're gonna try to make it through this. If the wife ain't home yet, then we'll open up the floor and then we'll see who wants to come in.
Historic Black and Hispanic unemployment down. Historic creation of small business in Black and all communities across the nation, particularly in rural areas. Historic economic growth. Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3% and is still going down.
Oh my God.
I know it.
How many of you actually believe that inflation has gone from 9% to 3% and is still dropping when you look at interest rates, mortgage rates, grocery prices, gas prices, fucking percentages on credit and all that? Who the hell's he's kidding the people around him, Night Strike, because that's the only fucking people dumb enough to believe this shit. And notice with this speech, I haven't seen a single mainstream network pull this up and fact check it. Not a single one. And no, he ain't going to the store and paying for his own stuff. You got to figure this guy has become a multi-millionaire from all his corruption and all the other bullshit that he's done. He ain't worried about a steak going from $12 to $34. He ain't worried about that.
We have more to do to get prices down. We have to take on corporate greed, making twice the profit they were before the pandemic. We got to make housing more affordable, provide child care, make the tax code fair, 16 Nobel winners of the Nobel Prize have looked at my economic plan this week. They've issued a report.
Now, John Lott posted something about his 16 Nobel Prize winners. He said there's about 40 something of them still living. And the 16 that did endorse this dude, well, they ain't necessarily the most intellectually honest people on this planet. So there's that.
And Trump's plan. Here's what they concluded. They said that my plan would continue to grow the economy and bring down inflation. 16 Nobel laureates. And that Trump's plan would send the nation into recession and inflation soaring through the roof. Don't take my word for it. Folks, let me close with this. I know I'm not a young man.
He also had 51 intelligence agencies say that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation.
Well, I don't.
Huh?
Folks,
Rub some more hydrochloric on. It doesn't seem like
I don't speak as smoothly as I used to. I don't debate as well as I used to. But I know what I do know. I know how to tell the truth. I know right from wrong. And I know how to do this job. I know how to get things done. And I know, like millions of Americans know, when you get knocked down, you get back up.
Now, watch this, because Jill and all the other people he's supposed to walk to when he leaves the stage are off to his right side. Watch where he walks after this is done.
I know what it took to take our economy to the depths of the pandemic to where it is today, the strongest economy in the world. I know what it'll take to bring the world to stand up against Putin and defend freedom, not yield to him. And I know it'll take to keep the world safe and free for the years ahead. Folks, I give you my word as a Biden, I would not be running again if I didn't believe with all my heart and soul I can do this job. Because quite frankly, the stakes are too high. The stakes are too high. Donald Trump is a genuine threat to this nation. He's a threat to our freedom. He's a threat to our democracy.
Dude, you want a threat to your democracy, hang out with me for a little while.
For everything America stands for. Look, he doesn't understand what I think all of you do. America is the finest and most unique nation in the world.
I got a thought about that, Daniel. When we watch the end of this,
the only nation in the world, and I mean this sincerely, it's a fact statement, not a hyperbolic statement. It's fact. We're the only nation in the world built on an idea. All the nations built on ethnicity, geography, and other religion. But we're built on an idea that we're all created equal. Deserve to be treated equally throughout our lives. We've never fully lived up, and I'll be damned in the year 2024.
I don't think they'll go there, Z, but I don't put anything past these people.
The 250th anniversary of our Declaration of Independence, but I'll let Donald Trump walk away from it.
Everybody's out of gun, though. Yes, it is.
I give my word as a Biden. We're still a nation. I believe we're still a nation that believes in honesty and decency and treating people with respect. I still believe we're a nation that gives everyone a fair shot and leaves nobody behind. We're still a nation that gives hate no safe harbor. And we're still the beacon to the world. We can never give up what makes America, America. Donald Trump is motivated by revenge and retribution. Well, revenge and retribution never built a damn thing.
Yeah, sit on.
You and I, we Americans are a nation of
I'm
hope.
glad you
Optimism,
said that.
with
I wasn't
possibility.
planning on screaming tonight, but I've got to pull.
That's what always built America. That's going to continue to be today. The choice in this election
Now
is
watch
simple.
it. Go the wrong way.
Donald Trump will destroy our democracy. I will defend it. So, folks, are you with me? Donald Trump's the first president I've heard of that stood up there running for president, having been one for one term, saying America's a failing nation. Where the hell does he think he is? I'm serious. Failing, I don't know if the president wouldn't trade places with America in a heartbeat. He's dead wrong. America's not a losing nation. America's winning. As I stand here today, I can honestly say I've never been more optimistic about America's future in my whole career. We just have to remember who we are.
No, you won't.
We're the United States of America. And there is nothing beyond our capacity. Nothing when we act together. We got it. So may God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Let's go get them, North Carolina.
Watch it. Walk the wrong way. You know why that? You thinking on that phone, man? Yeah. The rest of it says wait. My wife said, what the fuck are you wearing?
She finally did marry me.
Yeah, you cheating on her husband. We said. When Joe Biden got with her, she was babysitting his kids. She was married. My wife said, all right, so that was that. And if I can bring up what Chess sent me, if I can get it to freaking play. I got it. I had to download it. What in the world is this doing?
Little buddy. Oh, little guy.
Hold on, I'm going to have to do this a little different. I have to share. No, not select a tab. Window. Or should I do it? Just do it. No, it's going to. I try to share it as a window. The way it's coming up, it's a little screwy. I gotta play that again. Going down the slide with a kid just beating his head into everything. Come on, play. It's not wanting to act right. Come on, computer. Killing me. So yeah, going down the slide, just beating the kid's head into everything, and then, of course, the clip of Biden shitting himself on stage. Blue to white wire. Yeah, I wish it was that easy.
Hey,
All right, so wife wants me to show something off.
I'm not done.
She's not done. This is one of her wood burning projects.
Move to the right one.
That she's been working on for a little bit.
I can't wait for that new word to get here. Oh my god, it's going to look so damn
So
cool.
looks freaking awesome. She can, I don't know how she does it with all the shades and the gradients and stuff she sticks into it.
I don't either.
I don't know how she does it.
I don't either.
Yeah, I can't do that kind of stuff. I wish I could draw out of my head and do stuff like that, which that's not over her head. That's traced out. But even doing the colors and the gradients on it
Trace.
is, what do you call yourself? A copier?
Yeah, copy.
So there you go.
Didn't trace it. I drew it from a picture.
You drew it from a picture. So yeah, not trace, but still throwing the gradients and stuff on it, the way the color shade and stuff. I couldn't do that crap. Not to save my freaking life. Joe Morris, what's up, brother? So yeah, that was Joe Biden for the night. Because apparently, why not? Phil, what's going on, my brother?
The cat says meow.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's freaking. Oh, my wife's cat's gonna freak because he's in my office.
He doesn't like you.
No, he likes me. He just doesn't like the fact I kick him out of my damn office all the time.
Say hi.
I used to let him in here.
He used to sit with you, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. He used to be a little show buddy. Wasn't
Yeah, he used to come in here a bunch. Tread, what's up, my brother? Evening, sunshine. And Fluffy's checking in. What's going on, man? Let's do this. Let me paste this, and then we'll open it up for a little while. We'll all sit around and shoot shit for a little bit. If anybody wants to jump in, Knight, you're more than which anybody's welcome. Knight, you're more than welcome. Phil, everybody. And we'll shoot the breeze a little bit tomorrow. If everything goes okay, I want to go over the Chevron decision the other day. So that'll be a fun one to kind of get into, to kind of talk about. Who knows? We might look up some Twitter stuff and show you how leftist heads are exploding. There's Knight.
I've been here for like
Right,
5
what's
minutes.
up?
Not much.
Same old same?
Yeah. But I hear the cat in the background. Hear the
Yes.
cat in the background.
Yeah. If my wife is outside of the range of that cat's eyeballs, that joker starts crying for her.
Well, you know,
It's
He
an
just want-
unhealthy attraction.
he just wants attention. He or she.
Do you ever see the old movie Monkey Shines?
I don't think I've seen that one.
They took this kind of crazy chick's brain and put it in this monkey, and this dude was like a quadriplegic, and the monkey kind of had this obsessive tendency with the dude. It's an old movie. It's like back in the 80s. Well, my wife's sitting here flicking me off. It's like back in the, huh?
Because I'm pretty sure I know where this is going.
I'm telling you, that cat has an unhealthy attraction to you.
Oh, you're talking about my cat.
Yes. Who else would I have been talking about?
I thought you were talking about me.
No.
Or you with me. One of the two.
No,
Well,
I have a
well,
very
well-
healthy attraction to you.
That's what you said.
You just like Night Strikes Wood. She shakes her head and goes, "Yep."
Yeah.
I do like wood. I'm a big fan.
I'm telling you, in some cases, I married a fud.
In
I
some
really
cases.
did.
You know what my favorite thing to do with wood is?
Huh?
Stab it with a hot fucking iron.
Ooh, ooh,
Owie.
ooh, not that
Owie.
one.
Yeah,
Not that one.
The whole shit, didn't it?
That did. Well, no, that kind of added fuel to the fire to that joke. So
I mean, don't ruin a gun stock. Jeez.
You told me my favorite thing is to stab wood with hot iron.
Don't ruin a good gun stock. Jesus.
Oh no, she won't do that. She can take a ruined gun stock and make it look really fucking good, though. Fuck me, man. She's got the talent for working with it and actually bringing some stuff back to life, or the stains and
What's
checkering
your
and all
excuse?
that. Yeah, she has the patience for it.
What's your excuse?
I have zero patience for doing stuff like that.
Well, yeah, tell me something I don't know.
100%.
Well, my favorite color's blue. I like long walks on the beaches.
Yeah, right.
Night Strike said, "Tell me something you don't know." I went, "Well, my favorite color's blue."
You don't like long walks on the beach.
No, I don't like.
He loves Bud Light.
long walks on the beach.
He loves
no,
Bud Light.
Fred, no, don't even start that. These are stones.
And what you got in your hand? Bud Light, right?
It's Keystone.
Those Keystones. Don't start
That's
it,
the Bud
Fred.
Light, right? Same color.
Same color.
You're as bad as damn Man Against the Masses photoshopping a Bud Light in my hand and Dylan Mulvaney behind me. I've been promising to do that stream forever because I've got so many of those memes in my Instagram. I got to pull them all over and do a dedicated Man Against the Mass stream where he gives me tramp stamps, photoshops Dylan Mulvaney, photoshops Bud Light in my hand, all kinds of stuff.
You know,
They know how close he is. They've never seen your actual tramp stamp, have they?
I do not have an actual tramp stamp.
That is exactly what you'd say.
I will show it off on camera right now. I've got a scar.
Same thing.
If you count a scar from back surgery, a tramp stamp, well then yeah, I guess I'm guilty.
I mean, I've got tattoo. I've got a tattoo, so you know.
Well, yeah, I've got a big chest piece that I've got done, but I don't have any, tramp stamp. Although Man Against the Masses gave me one.
Well,
And put me in Daisy Dukes, and it's awful freaking hysterical. I like to goddamn died when he sent it to me.
and when Dark was eating Bagel Bite pizza on stream, he wouldn't even make a joke about that. Man Against the Masses, I have to say he's fired.
Man Against the Masses is quick with it. We'll be doing something, and then I'll get a message that says, "Hey, check your Instagram."
But he would make fun of Dark with the Bagel Bites pizza. I mean, what the hell, man?
Hey, everybody has an off night.
Off night. Talk about off week. Off month. Off year, even.
That could run into that, yeah. So anyway, how'd you guys feel about Biden's debate performance?
Well, I watched it alone on my own live stream, so you know.
I told you to send me a link. I'd have shared it out on there. Well, I told you to share it on my channel, and I'd have shared it out on X too.
Man.
We just spread it around.
And by the way, I was on John Trump today.
Yeah, I saw you on the stream.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting.
Yeah, I got in there. I don't know, probably 20 minutes late, and then I was on the road for part of it, so I couldn't freaking chat without running off the road and killing some old lady. But
so I'm working on some bump stock projects right now with the 3D
nice.
I found one. It's not really a bump stock. It's basically a copy, kind of a copy of like the JT grip.
Yeah.
They're basically, instead of the whole stock, it's just the grip portion. And I'm working on the AK version right now.
Nice.
Did you have to unbury it?
Not that I have to. No, I'm working on 3D files. And it's not that I can't bump fire an AK with without a stock or anything. I don't even need a belt loop. I can really just do it. My AK's got a hair trigger. I can just do it with the normally.
A lot of people can do it with a standard mil-spec trigger right against the shoulder.
Well, my AKs literally have hair triggers, so because I've customized them. I like 3.5 pound or less trigger pull. Okay, it's just how it goes.
I need to measure the trigger pull on a couple of my AKs. Measure that one Tapco trigger, and then measure that ALG.
I can tell you that Tapco trigger is probably between 5 and 8 pounds.
I would be surprised if it was over 5 pounds. As fast as that trigger will run, I'd be amazed if it was over 5 pounds.
It's most Tapcos were between 5 and 8.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I would be amazed if that thing was anything over 5 pounds. And that was the one that came in the original Wasser that I had, the one I rebuilt in the triangle folder. It's sitting back over there. But yeah, I'd be amazed if that trigger was anything over 5 pounds.
Well, with this, I'm testing it out with my GF3.
Oh, nice.
So I've got the GF3 over here. It's disassembled in parts, and I'm 3D printing a new attachment so I can try and get it working. Because the guy who made the files, he didn't add a hole in the plate that attaches to the receiver.
Yeah, yeah.
So that he didn't add a hole for the pistol grip nut. So you can't actually attach it to the rifle.
Oh, well, that was nice of him.
Yeah. So I had to go and make a hole there, and I'm now printing the new piece. And hopefully, once I'm done, I'll be able to get that all settled up. And I also had to buy a different pistol grip screw for the AK because of the way the bump grip is designed. You have to use a shorter screw than the normal AK screw, because the normal AK screw is like, it's like, I think it's like 3 inches long.
Yeah, it's like that. Now I do have one,
but it's just the standard M6 screw for anybody wondering.
I can't remember which grip it came with, and I can't even remember which gun it's on right now. That was exceptionally short, so the grip is hollow most of the way up, which makes it exceedingly aggravating. So the screws actually, it's less than half of a normal what you'd see for an AK pistol grip. Right. Like what's on like my AK pistol with a standard Bakelite grip. Yeah, it's less than half that.
Yeah.
It is very reminiscent of an AR grip. And I can't remember which one it is.
There's enough strength in the 3D printed stocks.
Well, basically this is a
I'll be right back.
This is a grip where you don't even have to use a stock. It just mounts to the plate that mounts to the rifle. So there's no actual stock involved. So it's literally just the pistol grip. So you don't even have to worry about a stock. And that's the better solution than trying to use a bump stock, because
right.
You waste a lot of material printing out a whole stock. And I've done it. I've already printed out several stocks and several designs and tried it out. But the problem is you end up wasting material printing out the whole stock. But when it's just the pistol grip, it's only like, $5 worth of filament if you do just the pistol grip portion. So that's what I'm testing right now. There's a bunch of designs out there if you want to look up, bump firing.
Well, I don't have the 3D printer stuff, so
yeah. Well,
I got enough stuff on my plate right now. So.
But I'm working on that because I thought it's interesting, and I kind of want to sell something. So we need to get more bump fire stuff out there so it's in common use, so they can't take it away again. That's my aim.
Hi, Baxes.
Thanks for the warning.
Yeah, it's true. Have any that the original short I showed on the stream tonight for Biden campaigning? Have any of you guys been getting that on your shorts feeds?
Nope.
Dude,
I haven't even seen the debates.
Oh yeah. Well, the debate was a fucking...
I saw bits and pieces and everything. Did you see the Glenn Beck thing with Bill O'Reilly talking about that Biden is going to drop out?
I've seen some reports on Bill O'Reilly reporting on that, and I've got no doubt that Biden is going to be at the DNC. He's going to release his delegates and step down. But I haven't watched Glenn in a while, and I sure enough haven't watched O'Reilly in forever.
Oh, Coop, I got something for you.
You need to tell them about the next debate snackage, what it's supposed to be.
I'll lead an effective strategy to
know whether there's
mobilize
gonna be
true
another
international
debate.
effort to pressure.
There you go.
It won't be between Biden and Trump.
It doesn't matter. Either way, it's a fucking shit show.
Yeah, my wife wants to do SOS for the next debate because it's a shit show.
It's shit on a shingle.
It's shit on a shingle.
It's SOS.
So,
Of course, I don't know. Are they subbing? Are they gonna get that?
some of them are, some of them aren't.
Oh, well.
But I'll guarantee you most everybody knows what shit on a shingle is.
That's a southern thing.
That's an all over thing, actually.
That's a southern thing.
How many of you guys up north know what shit on a shingle is? And if you don't know what shit on a shingle is,
It's a
God
dish.
bless your soul. Just
It's a dish.
it is definitely a dish. Better served warm and not cold, actually.
It's true. It's true.
Although I have eaten cold shit on a shingle.
It's
Probably not served at all, but
it's not as good. You want
No, it's nowhere near as good.
you want it warm and gooey.
Yes. Most definitely.
And all these northerners are like, you guys are gross.
Dude, I've known plenty of people from up north that know exactly what shit on the shingle is.
Not all of them do, though.
No, not all of them, but
I mean,
hell,
I live in Charleston. It's not like I don't know what that is.
there are people of up north that don't actually know what good fried chicken is. So,
Oh my God, let's not even go there.
yeah,
That's too far, Coop.
Hey, I've been. Where were we at? We were right above Myrtle Beach. It's been years ago, and we were living in Louisiana at the time.
By the way, you never go to Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach is, as Trump has quoted, about a couple places, a shithole.
Yeah, well, this like I said, it wasn't Myrtle Beach, somewhere north of Myrtle Beach. It was in North Carolina. We went. It was me, my mom. I can't remember who else was there. Went to a seafood restaurant. I mean, we are a stone's throw from the coast, and I ordered a shrimp po' boy. And for anybody in Louisiana who knows what a shrimp po' boy is a French bread sandwich, slam full of good shrimp. I mean, depending on how you get it, you'll get it with lettuce, tomato, mayo, whatever you want, onion. These people brought me a hoagie bun with like 3 shrimp on it. I was so depressed. Listen, my wife's walking here with my son wrapped up in a sheet. So if you're wondering what the giggling is in the background, it's this.
He's in swaddling. It's not Christmas yet.
He started it.
He wrapped up in the kitchen. It was like inch warm into the kitchen, wrapped up in it. I was like, yep, I'm gonna stand him up.
So abusive.
Yeah, so absolutely abusive. Well, come here. Come here. Say hi, perps.
I know.
I know. Why won't we say hi, perps tonight? Because you normally say hi, perps. You normally say hi, perps. Come on. Go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my children.
They're definitely yours.
They are no, dude. What they're fucking not sleeping at night and wanting to stay up all night, they are definitely mine.
Definitely yours.
Because God knows they are on my circadian rhythm hard.
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
No, that's daddy's baby all the way. So, Trad, you had watched the whole debate?
I haven't. I've watched bits and pieces on YouTube. I had to work the night of the debate,
Yeah.
so I didn't get to see it live or nothing. I heard about it, how much of a shit show, and I saw bits and pieces as Glenn Beck showed some clips and stuff.
Oh, it
So I
was
heard all about it. Dad watched it and told me about it.
It was an absolute train wreck, man. An absolute train wreck. The bingo cards that I did, the square for Biden shits his pants, it probably wasn't 10 minutes into the debate, and that was checked off.
Are you sure he wasn't having a stroke?
No. That was a shits his pants moment. He had the whole lost his brain moment before then. Yeah, it was a definitely, because you could see the look on his face. And if you've ever been around a 2-year-old potty training, that was a I shit my pants moment.
Is he having a stroke or shitting his pants? You don't know.
Yeah, that was definite shit his pants. And him describing the 3 trimesters of a pregnancy. Oh my God! If you didn't catch that one, it is.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh man!
I'll eventually watch it on YouTube or whatever. I'll search it up and watch it, but I'm not sure I really want to.
It'll make your head hurt, or unless you're like me and it'll make your head hurt, and then you just laugh your ass off. Because
you mean more so than usual?
Yeah. I don't have my bottle of Motrin sitting right next to me right now, but
you might need it.
They really need to like sponsor my show.
So if Bill O'Reilly is correct, and he's planning on stepping down, who's going to be the successor?
I think it's going to be Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom was going so hard into the paint trying to defend Biden after that debate. I think it's going to be him, and he'll walk in there and be like, look, I was a huge Biden supporter and I didn't want to do this, but Biden, and well, he had to step down, and now I'm taking
with
over.
Whitmer as a vice.
I think so. Because Whitmer was going real hard in the paint for him too.
No, they got to pick someone who lies even more than Biden. They need Liawatha.
No. It would work. It would fit.
Elizabeth Warren.
The only other one that would really be like the, no pun intended, the dark horse in this situation, because I think Gavin will go for the president, would be Big Mike.
Yep.
The problem is if they do field Gavin Newsom, they're automatically handing it to Trump because Newsom.
If they do it early enough, they might can. I mean, his record in California ain't great.
Newsom's record in California is awful. Everybody hates California, and
but yet he still gets hired back in every time.
That's because it's full of Democrats in California.
Well, here's my argument, and I had it with my father-in-law.
That's going to be voting for him, though.
Yeah, I had it with my father-in-law tonight, and he was like, "Well, if they replace Newsom, well, he doesn't have the votes." Here's the thing: those votes, I firmly believe, are already locked in. So it almost doesn't matter whether they keep Biden or whether they trade him out. Because there are plenty of people that are so I'm never voting for
the Democratic Party. Period.
It doesn't matter who they run.
They lost the golden opportunity to field somebody who's electable. The only buddy electable on the DNC side, right? That they pissed off was Robert Kennedy Jr. He was the only one electable.
No, he was the only one that sounded like he had any sense. But again, getting back to the amount of cheating in 2020 and the amount of cheating that they locked in, because you got to remember, Pennsylvania, Michigan, a couple other states have voted in more mail-in ballots, more drop boxes. More states have went to make it easier to get mail-in ballots and ballot harvest. I think they firmly believe that they have the vote locked in, and it doesn't matter who they run. Who the figurehead is, they think they got it in the bag. It could be wrong. Now, God knows I hope I'm wrong. Because if these leftists, if they get the presidency back, if they gain seats in the House, and then they keep the Senate, they will pack the Supreme Court. Hank Johnson was posting about it today. We need to do this, pack the Supreme Court. Because they are pissed that they have lost so many decisions lately, taking down Chevron.
Wait. Hold up. Have we asked Hank Johnson if Guam is capsized yet?
Actually, I asked on his Twitter today if that island tipped over yet. I haven't heard anything back. Strangely enough, he apparently doesn't want to answer that question.
Well, that's his problem, I guess.
It's all his mental problems is what it is. Yeah, I'm still thinking there's an outside chance that one of his staffers wrote that for him and went, I think he's dumb enough to read it, and we're going to find out. And when he read it, they looked at it, looked around, and went, hey, he fucking read it. You owe me 20 to the staffer next to him. This is basically a freaking dum-dum test. Let's see. Let me do something real fast. Let me figure out where in the hell I'm at. Oh, these fucking dum-dums as usual on X. Dude, this idiot who's been X-Ring LLC Firearms is a fucking great follow on X. But he's been going back and forth with this dum-dum adrenochrome dealer / vax shedder. Automatically tell you where that person's at. And they keep getting smashed all the time, and X is smashing them. And this dum-dum just keeps coming back for more every time you turn around. And it is absolutely hysterical. Come on, where's Hank at? I know I posted it. Oh, here. Fuck it, let's do this. So you guys can kind of see what the hell I'm scrolling through. You guys get to see my Twitter. X, whatever it is.
Oh no, not your Twitter.
Yeah.
Not your mean tweets.
What Twitter?
Yeah,
there we go.
The sex abuse registry, and I asked how many members of Congress should be registered. My guess is a lot. Naperville, she's funny as shit and right most of the time. Oh, this was one of the AGs posting about the Chevron deference stuff. Said Chevron is abused by agencies just like the Commerce Clause is.
True.
It is extremely true.
Very true. Very true.
Hannah Hill's involved in a couple of the Illinois assault weapons ban cases, and we should know tomorrow whether the Supreme Court's going to take up any of those cases. And I understand where she's coming from with the damn fucking want to hyperventilate, because those cases are extremely important. If you're not following Puerto Rican Pistolero, which is Rolo, formerly of oh god, my brain just fucking failed. But if you look up Rolo, look up Puerto Rican Pistolero, Rolo's rants and stuff. He's really good. Oh, here's Hank Johnson. My statement as the 6'3" MAGA extremist Supreme Court majority continues to show its true activist colors by writing the rules as they go to suit Donald Trump and other oligarchs at the expense of all the rest of us. And I'll read the statement in a second, but all I posted on that is, Hank, has the island tipped over yet? I will ask this dude that in every fucking tweet possible.
You know what? I'll do it too.
Oh, dude, man, you're one of the dudes I follow. I finally started getting some of Marconi Armory stuff. I see Dark every once in a while. I have to go look for your posts.
I don't post a lot. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, you may not post a lot, but some of these guys that do, Their shit almost never pops up on my feed. For the longest time, I've been following Brandon Herrera for the longest time. For the longest time, none of his stuff popped up on my feed. If I wanted to see what Brandon was saying, I had to go over to his freaking feed and then look through it myself. So there's a lot of people that I follow. I never see any of their stuff. And what did Hank say? This suspiciously delayed ruling by the 6-3 super MAGA majority on the court marks an early and breathtaking Independence Day for Donald Trump and for future presidents, which is going to be right because there's a lot of shit that Biden won't go down for because they'll say he has immunity, who are officially above the law. This ruling in this session of the court has been brutally assaultive on democracy, as they should be, and the rule of law. We must.
He's only immune to stuff that he's doing as president, quote unquote.
Yeah. But listen to this.
Personal shit he's not immune to.
We must expand the court and pass term limits to protect constitutional order. Hold on, what am I reading that wrong? Term limits to protect what constitutional order remains intact. Okay, so I read it a little bit wrong. Have to respect pass term limits to protect what constitutional order remains intact. Oh, and P.S. Justice Thomas, see you in Bali. My regards, Harlem Sugar Daddy Crow. Fuck this dude. Hank Johnson questioning anybody on morals or anything else is absolutely hysterical. So, yeah, which they've been pushing for a little while. Hank Johnson's had a federal bill in the House to pack the Supreme Court, and I can't remember who sponsored the one in the Senate to pack the Supreme Court. But yeah, all that's there. So if Biden and them or whoever runs instead of Biden, if they keep the White House, keep the Senate, and actually gain seats in the House, you can look for the court to get packed. Because
don't they have to have 3/4 majority or some crap like
that? In the Senate, they need what, 60 something.
I mean, they don't have to have like just a simple majority. They got to have like 2/3 or something.
Yeah, they gotta have a super majority in the Senate. The House, I think, can still pass stuff with like a basic simple majority. Because the rules in the House and Senate are a bit different. That's why you always hear about the arguments about the filibuster in the. Oh shit! I didn't realize MGTOW come in. What's up, Outlaw? So that's why you always hear about the arguments for the filibuster in the Senate.
Yep.
Because they do have to have that super majority. See, you got your sneakity sneak.
Honey.
You get them some food tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. She's got one of the corn snakes.
Oh, snap.
She's a pretty little snake.
Don't pull on her tail.
I say little. She's
Not really.
3.5 foot, maybe. Uncoiled. Oh, yeah, I know. My son's getting way better. He doesn't just bop him on the head anymore.
Them June bugs are screaming outside. Y'all hear it?
Yep.
No, thank you.
Dude, there for a couple of weeks, man. The cicadas were insane down here. You couldn't, especially in the evenings and stuff, man. It sounded like the steady. It wasn't the normal. Cicadas have kind of this scream that they do. This was just this solid hum that was everywhere. And this, I mean, it was wild. They were that freaking loud. 60 to bring to closure. Yep. Yeah, they had to have at least 60 something votes, 60 to bring it to closure, 60 something I think actually passed something in the Senate. And the Democrats were trying hard, and they've still been arguing to get rid of the filibuster. And if they ever lose power, they will regret that. Hardcore regret it. To where you could do something with a simple majority in the Senate. And there were a couple people that basically reminded them of that. You do this, you're not going to like the results of it. And
you might in the short term, but in the long term, you probably not.
Yeah, in the long term, if the Republicans ever got a majority back, you're not going to fucking like it.
But we've had a majority before, and they didn't do a damn thing.
They didn't do shit.
Got that right.
They fought Trump the whole damn way.
Dude, I was talking about that, and I posted about it on X and a bunch of places before, and talked about it on here.
They had 2/3. They had the ability to do 2/3 majority in the Senate and the House, and pass some good gun laws, and they did shit.
Yeah,
absolute horse shit.
This bill that came up about taking suppressors off the NFA not too long back. And like I posted, I said, where were those bills at when we had the House, the Senate, and the presidency and could have passed that in no time? Yep. Or the bill to basically strip away the $200 tax off the NFA that came up. Where was that bill at when we had plenty of people to pass it? There's so much shit that they could have done that would have been good on gun rights, but they only propose this shit when there's no hope of passing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all messaging bills. And see, Democrats will try. It's not necessarily messaging bills when Democrats do it. So when Democrats do it, they're just checking the water. They're taking the temperature on something. And then if it doesn't pass one year, they just submit it the next year, and then they'll submit it the next year, and then they'll submit it the next year. And it just seems to gain votes every single time. With Republicans, it's a messaging bill. They'll propose it, and then when they actually have the power to do it, that bill's nowhere to be found. And to a point, you can blame Mitch McConnell for a lot of that, because he wouldn't let some of these bills come up in the Senate.
Repeal the NFA.
It should be. It shouldn't have withstood its initial challenge in Miller. It shouldn't have. But if anybody knows anything about the Miller case, the entire point where it went to Supreme Court was an absolute shit show. Miller and his guy weren't even there. The lawyers weren't there for the defendants, and the state just got to say whatever they wanted, and the court just ran with it.
Well, I think slowly but surely this whole nation, no matter what side you're on, is seeing through this nonsense, hopefully. I mean, you still have a few knuckleheads out there that's room temperature IQ that don't know, but
well, look at all the clapping seals at Biden's rally. Yay, 4 more years.
A few?
I think honestly, I think that was a soundbite. There's no way people were chanting 4 more years like that. Dude, maybe they were.
With the amount of people that I've seen over the last 3.5 years support this dude, I'm telling you, there are enough of these people out there. It's mind-blowing, the sheer stupidity and the sheer ignorance of your average American voter.
Sorry.
Well, you got to wonder how many of these people are enjoying the revenge, I guess you could say, or clapback of this Biden administration undoing all the things that Trump did. You know, people being that petty that they're enjoying seeing the Republicans suffer this term.
So,
there's people that
they're enjoying paying between $3 and $8 for a gallon of gas. Wow. Okay.
Well, there's plenty of people that are enjoying.
They like spending $200 at the store instead of one.
Yes, they don't care. As long as it's their dude, they don't care.
Some people will straight out and out tell you, "Hey, I voted for Biden just so Trump wouldn't go in there." Like they hate him that bad. They knew Biden was awful. They admit it.
There are plenty of used to be big name Republicans, Joe Walsh, Bill Kristol, a bunch of guys like that are deep state Republicans So in other words, they're statists. They're not far from the left, but they are all about them some Biden still. There was one, I can't remember which one it was, last night, who did an interview, and he's like, I'm still voting for Biden. Trump's evil, Trump's this, Trump's that. I'm still voting for Biden.
Yeah.
So you can't discount not only just the cheating that Democrats will do, but you can't discount the people who will vote for Biden, vote for any Democrat, period.
Mm-hmm.
And, they don't give a shit.
They're sold out, dedicated to it.
They are. Absolutely sold out. And they won't be intellectually honest about anything. You can show them where the economy's at, where inflation is actually at, which is probably up around fucking 20% at least. You can show them where jobs are actually at, where we're nowhere near fulfilling the job requirements of this country. And most of what you're seeing are illegals taking jobs, and they're counting those as, hey, we got jobs. And you can show them all that. And they'll still be like, nope, I'm still voting for whoever because I'm not voting for Trump.
Yep.
That's why I say,
yep.
It doesn't matter if they replace Biden at this point at the when they go to the DNC, next month. It doesn't matter whether they replace Biden and Harris, because they know they have a base that will vote Democrat regardless, and they know there are enough people that they have so wound up over Trump and Trump's a tyrant and all this other horse shit that they'll vote for anybody.
Yeah.
Hell, put me in, I'll run. They ain't gonna like the results, but okay.
Hell, people were willing to put Hillary Clinton in there if she ran again over Trump.
Yes,
that's how much hatred they have for the man.
Well, they have hatred for any Republican that is not an absolute leftist, statist. I mean, and let's face it, even Mitt Romney, when Mitt Romney was running, the most milquetoast rhino Republican you could find.
You mean the guy that got booed in Utah?
Yeah. And then look at
that's
John.
a great video watching them boo him.
Yeah. Look at John McCain. John McCain was another one.
Don't get me started on John McCain. Don't get me started on John McCain. I'm from Arizona. Don't get me started.
But they trashed him when he was running. But if he had been running right now, if he said, I want the Republican ticket, they would be loving this dude right now.
Oh, yeah.
John McCain was the biggest fucking rhino Arizona ever had.
Yeah. John McCain was a rhino his entire fucking career and didn't do shit.
He was no Barry
Goldwater.
Better. I miss Goldwater over McCain. I'll tell you that.
Dude, I'd put fucking Elmo ahead of John McCain, and Elmo got the jab too.
Well, some people in our state voted for Nick Saban over Trump.
Yeah.
I'm just glad McCain's dead.
They voted for Harambe the fucking gorilla over Trump.
Yep.
For just throwing their vote away.
Well, now they'll be voting for Harambe over Joe this time.
Oh, I guarantee you, if Joe stays in, there are enough people in between the cheating, the dead people, and the brain dead people that it'll be a lock.
It'll be close.
I don't even think it'll be close.
I'd like to believe there's enough people pissed off at Biden that that it'll be close, but Trump will still win.
Man, you're giving people way too much credit, brother.
Well,
and it's one of those things. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope.
I want to be optimistic because God, if it's the opposite, then well, Coop. I hope you have level 4 plates. Is all I'm going to say.
I do. They're sitting right over there.
Well, whatever happens, watch the people who are handling the ballots. Watch the ballot handling closely this election.
Yep.
Keep your eye on the election when people are casting their ballots and stuff and counting.
Yeah, we tried to keep an eye on the election in 2020 and try to call it out. And what happened?
They got buried. Yeah, people had video evidence and got buried. Facebook was like, "No, son, that's misinformation. Fact check. You're wrong."
I brought up that truck driver early on the stream tonight who said he drove a truck full of ballots, and we're not talking about a mail truck. We are talking about a semi truck of ballots from New York to Pennsylvania late at night. Okay, they tried to bury that story, and then when everything was said and done after the investigation, the dude had a GPS on his truck, a logbook, had to, go through tolls and all that. And then they found out he was exactly where he said he was with the load he said he had, and it gets buried.
Where was that at? Was it in Florida where that guy found that landfill full of ballots?
I can't remember. But there was one in Fulton County where some people were watching him just sit there and shred the ballots. And then it came out last month. What is it? Hold on. So it came out last month that Georgia, who is supposed to have electronic copies, all these votes, they lost the electronic copies of thousands of votes. Just lost them. And all their paper backups are gone.
I asked somebody today on Brandon Trueblood's stream. I don't know if any of you guys watch him, but I was like, we have technology to count money quicker than anything I've ever seen in my life, right? Stick money in them machines, it counts it in seconds.
And read the serial numbers and everything.
Yeah. If we have that type of technology and we have, electronic voting machines, why does it take that long for all these ballots to be counted?
It shouldn't. But remember, they got caught backdating mail-in ballots. The post office, it came up in congressional hearings that the post office was getting in ballots that were mailed after the election, and they were post-dating them and then sending them on. There's no excuse for us not to know who the president is the night of the election.
Yeah.
No excuse. No more go to sleep at 12 o'clock at night, Trump's miles ahead, and wake up in the morning and Biden. What the?
Yeah.
Fulton County, I'll never forget Fulton County. Water main break. Turns out to be a leaking toilet, and they had to shut down ballot counting. Ends up the Republican representatives are just basically told to leave, and then when they leave, all of a sudden ballots start getting counted again. And for some reason, they all came up for Biden. I think they could pad their lie a little bit and throw a Trump vote in there every now and then, but no, it's not the way they work.
Well, this is just my personal opinion. I've always thought that voting ought to be done in a way to where we know exactly how many people, their names, their legality, and if they voted or not, which side they voted for. In other words, you take a total tally of all the people in this country who decide to vote, right? Say just say on hypothetical 90 million people vote. We need to have something in place where we know how all 90 million people voted.
Well, here's the way you handle some of that.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, this whole thing where we don't know who people vote for, and it's our right to keep it a secret and all that. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but me personally, I think that's kind of a cop out.
I'm fine with it being no one knows who you vote for.
Sure.
But what I think about it is that, say, when I go vote and I slide my ballot into a machine, it should slide me a printout back that says your votes were recorded as such.
Yeah.
Just giving me a little bit of freaking, a little bit of security on how my vote was counted, because there were so many stories of people who went to vote and they hit Trump, and then their fucking machine recorded them as Biden.
Yeah.
And not to say you couldn't cheat that way too. I mean, fuck, I don't put anything past these people.
Well, that leads to another situation. Listen, folks, if you're gonna go and vote,
Mhm.
check your voting card before you submit it. If they use those Scantron
Yes.
voting machines, make sure it checked Trump or whoever you want other than Biden. Okay. Otherwise, you're giving it away to Biden.
Mhm.
Oh, it's no doubt. But I seriously, I'm not. I'll say it again. I'm not trying to talk anybody out of voting at all.
Right.
I'll still encourage people to vote. I'm just being honest about where I'm at, and especially after seeing everything in 2020 and everything in 2022, I'm done with it. And I used to be a massive advocate to vote.
Yeah.
I believe everybody that can vote should vote. Period. It's like, listen. I know there's going to be a lot of cheating, but if we can get enough people who don't normally vote to go out there and vote for Trump, then it doesn't matter how much they cheat. We'll still win.
Now they'll just print out, and this is this is just me, kids. Again,
come on.
I think
Stop
they'll
being so
just
negative.
print out more balance. They've done it, and they prove they'll do it. I guarantee you, Trump won Georgia by a lot, by thousands of votes.
Yeah.
And all they did is, okay, he's winning by this many votes. Well, we'll slide through this many votes. They got cut double and triple and quadruple counting votes for Biden, which shouldn't happen.
Oh, I guarantee he won this previous election. Guarantee it. All you have to do is go back to his rallies and look at how many people were there supporting him. They came out of state, out of county, and then look at Biden's rallies.
Oh,
the
man
had no support.
Compared to a Biden rally, a Trump rally looked like a fucking Grateful Dead concert.
Yeah, the man had no support.
But it's, again, we get back to the fact that none of the addresses that were vacant lots, none of the addresses with 2,400 people registered to them, none of the stuff about, the drop boxes and all that has been addressed.
Yeah.
You want to get me voting again? Have a day of voting where everybody shows up in person and they put their ballot through that day. Poof. Except in maybe very, very extreme circumstances. But if we're still doing mail-in ballots and we're still doing drop boxes where someone can't make their ass to the damn polls, if voting is so important to you, you have to vote basically every 2 years for something, basically. So you're telling me in 2 years you can't make an accommodation to go vote? I've literally told employers, I'm going to go vote today. I'm not going to be there till I'm done, period.
The thing, and this is what I've gotten into the discussions about with other guys in the community. The idea of voting is not the problem. The corruption of the people who count the ballots are the problem.
That is a massive problem.
How they corrupt it, the methods they use to corrupt it, the fact that there's even corruption in the first place. I think that it should be reformed, honestly. I think the voting system we've got now should be reformed somehow.
That's the issue. And I keep thinking about it How can we do this? How can we do that?
Yeah.
So what about, we have social security numbers, right? Every legal American is supposed to have a social security number.
Right.
What if in a blind way, our ballot has that social security number? So when we slide that ballot through, that social security number only gets run one time. And if there are 5 other ballots that have that same social security number, they just get kicked out. Something like that. There's got to be some sort of a watermark or some sort of a check on it. Because if not, fuck it. I can send in as many ballots as I want.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be good legally for just one vote, one person. You know, I know there's people that vote multiple times. They
Yes.
go to another state or another county and vote.
Dude,
Another town.
in 2020, me and my wife could have voted in Alabama and voted in Georgia because we got mail-in ballots in Georgia unrequested, even though I hadn't lived there for a year and a half, and then her residency changed about 2 years before that.
Yeah.
But we still got it, our last address, because we used my folks' address for a little while before we got the house and got everything switched over. We got mail-in ballots for me and her at the old address.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't request them. I ended up just trashing them.
Yeah.
But still, if that happened to me and my wife, who hadn't been there in 2 years or a year and a half, one guy talking to another dude I know, I think it might have been Washington State. He hadn't lived there in like 10 years and was living in another state. And Washington State mailed him a ballot to his address that was outside of the fucking state.
Wow.
So, yeah, this whole election integrity, and when government starts telling you this was the most secure election in history, you know they're full of shit. Period.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how.
It should be ID required.
There has to.
And the only ones to me that should be able to get mail-in ballots are military out of country.
That would work for me. Because like I said, you roughly have 2 years in between each vote. And if you want to vote so bad within 2 years, you need to make an accommodation for it. And if it's not important enough for you to show up and vote in a 2-year period, well, then it's really not, it's not worth it.
No, and I think a lot of the churches and stuff like that would run buses and stuff just like they would on a Sunday to go pick up their members that can't drive their own self or whatever, and shuttle them to the church that has the voting machines and let them vote.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of churches, the Souls to the Polls campaign with a lot of these churches where they'd pick up people from their home, old folks' home, wherever, and drive them to the poll to allow them to vote. Now, if they vote in person without someone sitting there telling them, yeah, you need to vote for this and you need to vote for that, I got no problems with that.
Mm-hmm. As long as they're mentally capable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I said, I don't care who they vote for, whether it's Democrat, Republican. Everybody's got their own right to vote. Don't matter who they vote for, just get out and vote. Yeah. But I want it to be a legit vote and legal vote.
Yep, I do too. Well, them jokers are kicking outside, aren't they? My God. Yep, and I am all for a person voting their conscience and going out and doing and voting their conscience and doing as they see fit. I believe the process is corrupt. And at this point in time, in my humble opinion, I think both parties are bought and paid for. There's no point in it. I think there's reform that needs to happen well past voting. I mean, you know, that's just how I feel about it, Coop. I feel like both parties are bought and paid for. They get what they want no matter who people vote for. They control both sides of the aisle. You know,
Oh, it's man, they are absolutely all bought and freaking paid for. Um, and you can make all the arguments that you want in some cases. Oh, what trade? Hold
Yeah, he dropped. I don't know
on.
where he. Oh, there he
Make
is.
all the arguments in the world in some cases, but whether Republican or Democrat, for the
Yeah.
most part, they are going to strip you of your rights. Democrats are just going to do it faster. They are more
True.
aggressive about doing it. And Republicans tend to be nothing but a speed bump for them. So I was talking about again to my father-in-law tonight. Lindsey Graham and some others that I've heard in hearings. Well, they bragged about being so nonpartisan. They voted for judges like Elena Kagan and Sotomayor.
He needs to get his ass out. I wish people
Yeah.
would quit voting for his ass.
When these people should have been going, oh hell no, we're not voting for these people to go on the Supreme Court. They should have been a no vote, period.
Yep.
But they vote for them. And then they go to the Supreme Court, and then they just are completely activists their entire damn time. That's how you end up with things like Roe v. Wade being the law of the land for 50 years.
Yep.
Not to say they were involved in the decision, kids. I know that happened long before them. I'm just talking about the activist judges.
Billions of aborted fetuses, all for somebody to line their pockets with, money wise. Fucking scam, man.
It's a complete scam. And that's why, and I've said it in streams before, as good as I think our Constitution is, I think it sucks in a lot of ways because it has zero teeth built into it. To where when you have someone in office, they can do all this shit that's absolutely unconstitutional, and then it makes it so hard to remove them. You know, if the Constitution had teeth, a lot of these judges would never be allowed to sit on a bench. Because the Constitution says this thing, you rule that way, and nope, you're fucking gone.
Mm-hmm.
But and then we have Biden and his administration putting a couple of hundred judges on the federal circuit and district courts. So everybody remembers Ketanji Brown, but they don't think about the other 100 and something judges, 200 judges, a little over 200, I think, at this point, that he's put on the circuit and district courts.
Trump put his fair share on out there too.
What is a woman? She asks.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I can't answer that right now.
Yeah, bullshit. If a man come up and slapped her in the back of her head when she said that, don't you know they would have figured out what a woman was right then and there?
Oh yeah, they would have. That would have been absolutely freaking abuse, and it'd have been this man attacking a woman. And but look at this. There was a hearing not too long back, and I'll give Ted Cruz credit and John Kennedy credit, where they went after this judge that Biden and them were trying to put on the federal courts. And she's one of the ones who, I think the state had denied it, went through a couple appeals. Anyway, taking a man who was a rapist, an intact male who decided he wanted to be a woman, and then putting him in a female prison.
Yeah, that ain't that's going to end well, ain't it?
Yeah. We've seen that go down, and they try to keep it buried where these judges will put a male in a female prison, and then all of a sudden you end up with a bunch of female inmates that are pregnant. Yeah, working out real well. Yep. Because to be honest with you, if the dude was in prison and all he liked was men, there are plenty of dudes in prison that all they like is women, but they will sure butt rape another guy. So that goes both ways. Well, yeah, there is a pun intended in that one. That they would do a woman because they just want sex.
Yep.
So it's especially with two young kids. it's one of the reasons I'll spend all the time in the world trying to call a lot of this shit out is I don't want my kids growing up in the world where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
And it is going off the fucking rails.
Yeah.
And it's it is my daughter can't watch YouTube without being exposed to a bunch of trans bullshit.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's supposed to be kids.
All
And
right. I'm jumping out. I'll see you later, Coop.
All right, now take it easy, brother, man.
Later.
Yeah, it's supposed to be kid stuff. It was, which it's happened in the last little while, but it was a while back. She had it on the TV in the living room, and all of a sudden it was this whole trans thing popped up. Supposed to be on kids' YouTube. And of course, I tell her she needs to find something else to freaking watch. But it's, man, it's gotten so far out there where, like these pride parades, you can have men and women dressed in fetish gear or walking around butthole naked in front of kids, and no one wants to say anything.
Yeah. Well, you got parents that'll stand up in these school conferences, these school board meetings, and try to take a stand against it, but all they have to do is now, point of order, and then just throw them out. That's what people are fucking sick and tired of, the governmental red tape bullshit.
I've seen so many videos where someone took a book out of their kid's school, went to a school board meeting with it, and tried to read what was in that book at the meeting, and they get arrested. Or the entire school board just walks out of the room. That one happened to a guy the other day. The entire school board tried to shut him down, and he kept reading, so the entire school board just walked out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was something about like a bunch of kids in a threesome or something like that. This is a book in an elementary school.
Yep.
So
there's a bunch of those videos on the YouTube.
Yeah, if it's in an elementary school and I can't read it in a school board meeting, then it probably doesn't need to be in the elementary school or the high school for that matter.
Well, you see these special reports coming out right now on NBC and CBS. Biden speaks on Supreme Court's presidential immunity decision.
I haven't seen any of that yet. I want to see him speak on it, though.
It's out right now.
Hold on. Well, let's look at something.
Look at these motherfuckers that dress up like women, going up in the libraries and reading story time to these kids, and it's like you motherfucker, you know these kids are going to ask questions because you're a grown adult with makeup all over your face. You look like a fucking clown. You know they're going to ask questions because you're not dressed normally. It's a sexuality that they want to pass along to these kids because they can't have them themselves. They're
NBC News has a 15-minute, 30-second one. The rest of them like 2 minutes, 5 minutes.
Hold on. Well, let's look at this one real fast, and then we'll show another one. I'm going to look and see if I can find Biden talking about the immunity case. But this one was
NBC
Biden.
News has one out right now.
This was Biden talking about the whole abortion thing. I mean, we'll do that. I'll give it till about 9:30, and then I got to bounce, or 9:20. But otherwise, you guys are going to hear Coop die tonight.
President Biden?
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided at Roe. And that's this idea that they're all against it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're in a state where in 6 weeks, you don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor, have him decide on what your circumstances are, whether you need help. The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states, let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered. And he went to the funeral. The idea that She was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about that, but here's the deal: there's a lot of young women are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters, it's just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state.
So this wasn't the clip I was looking for. I was hoping it was the one I was looking for, where he tried to explain the trimesters of pregnancy. And if I can find it, I'll show it.
I sent you a link on the back chat.
Jesus Christ.
All right, let's see.
Check the back chat.
Yep.
Oh, he fell out again.
Tread fall out.
Trying to...
Well, give him a second. We'll give him a second, see whether he gets back in. I think his connection can be about as much of a pain in the ass as mine can.
Yeah. Biden trying to
God knows
explain.
my country has connection sometimes. Oh, his explanation of it came down to, well, in the first trimester, it's between a woman and this. And in the second trimester, it's in between the woman and a doctor. And then the third trimester, it's in between a woman and the government. That was his basic explanation of the trimesters of a pregnancy. And I'm still trying to find that clip, but it is getting hidden.
Did you check the back chat?
Yes, I did. We're fixing to play.
Anything that can negatively affect Biden, make him look awful, they're going to try to bury with.
I don't think they are.
I think they
want him out so bad that they're allowing stuff out.
They are allowing stuff out now. Because we're in a funny position right now. So the Her report that came out that talked about Biden being the sympathetic old man, whole 9 yards. Biden and them got to read that report before it came out. That came up in the hearings. They got to read that report, every bit of it. So they could have had those lines stricken from that report, but they didn't. And then, of course, when it gets read, all the Democrats act like they're freaking out. Oh, no, he never should have said that. They knew it was in the report.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to see little drips and drabs about Biden and some of the things going on and his mental acuity. And
I think they allowed all the Hunter Biden stuff to come out and hoping that he would drop out.
Yep. And now you get to the debate where he pretty much showed he can't fucking string a thought together. This is all, to me, it's all a show. They know they're going to push him out. They're just laying the groundwork for it right now.
Yeah.
And that's what I think's really happening.
News from the White House tonight, where President Biden is about to speak at any moment now about today's Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity.
Oh, shit.
It comes after the court ruled along ideological lines. You see it right here, that former President Trump does have some immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts as president, but not unofficial acts. That decision is still a huge legal win for Mr. Trump, effectively raising the bar to bring criminal interference case against Mr. Trump and possibly his classified documents cases as well. As we sit and wait for the president to take the podium there in the cross hall at the White House, we actually see the president right now. Let's listen in.
Good evening. The presidency is the most powerful office in the world. It's an office that not only tests your judgment, perhaps even more importantly, it's an office that can test your character. Because you not only face moments when you need the courage to exercise the full power of the presidency, you also face moments where you need the wisdom to respect the limits of the power of the office of the presidency. This nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States. With today's Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity, that fundamentally changed. For all practical purposes, today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do. This is a fundamentally new principle, and it's a dangerous precedent, because the power of the office will no longer be constrained by the law even including the Supreme Court of the United States. The only limits will be self-imposed by the president alone. This decision today has continued the court's attack in recent years on a wide range of long-established legal principles in our nation, from gutting voting rights and civil rights, to taking away a woman's right to choose, to today's decision that undermines the rule of law of this nation. Nearly 4 years ago, my predecessor.
Okay, I got to pause this for just a sec, and because I kind of lost the point I was going to say earlier. So people are talking about Jill Biden. How can she let her husband go through this? How can she, put her husband out there like that? There's a theory there.
Yeah.
Joe Biden, being the piece of shit that he's always been, has treated her so badly that as long as she has some power and has the clout, she doesn't care how he gets treated. He is just nothing but a tool. So if you hear that pop up on something tomorrow, Coop said it first. Just want to let y'all know.
Well, I know that Bill O'Reilly said that she's the one fighting to keep him in.
That's what it sounded like.
That she's the one fighting to keep him in the race.
Come on, buddy.
That we can overcome
Wait. Yeah, that's what I think. She is more than willing to use him like this, and get what she wants out of it.
Send a violent mob to the U.S. Capitol to stop the peaceful transfer of power. We all saw it with our own eyes. We sat there and watched it happen that day. Attack on the police, the ransacking of the Capitol, a mob literally hunting down the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi. Gallows erected to hang the Vice President, Mike Pence. I think it's fair to say it's one of the darkest days in the history of America. Now the man who sent that mob to the U.S. Capitol is facing potential criminal conviction for what happened that day. And the American people deserve to have an answer in the courts before the upcoming election. The public has a right to know the answer about what happened on January 6th before they are asked to vote again this year. Now, because of today's decision, that is highly, highly unlikely. It's a terrible disservice to the people of this nation. So now the American people have to do what the courts should have been willing to do, but will not. The American people have to render a judgment about Donald Trump's behavior. The American people must decide whether Donald Trump's assault on our democracy on January 6th makes him unfit for public office in the highest office in the land. The American people must decide if Trump's embrace of violence to preserve his power is acceptable. Perhaps most importantly, the American people must decide if they want to entrust the president once again, the presidency, to Donald Trump, now knowing he'll be more emboldened to do whatever he pleases whenever he wants to do it. At the outset of our nation, it was the character of George Washington, our first president, to define the presidency. He believed power was limited, not absolute. And that power always resides with the people, always. Now, over 200 years later, today's Supreme Court decision, once again, it will depend on the character of the men and women who hold that presidency that are going to define the limits of the power of the presidency, because the law will no longer do it. I know I will respect the limits of the presidential powers I have for 3.5 years, but any president, including Donald Trump, will now be free to ignore the law. I concur with Justice Sotomayor's dissent today. Here's what she said. She said, in every use of official power, the president is now a king above the law. With fear for our democracy, I dissent. End of quote.
We are not.
Now this is a dude who relies on immunity to be able to get up in front of the American people and lie right to your face with everything that falls out of his mouth. Because he can't be held for perjury or anything like that while he's making these official statements.
You done lost your shit.
Who lost what?
1 acre of land for $25,000. You done lost your shit.
What? Yeah.
so should the American people dissent. I dissent. May God bless you all, and may God help preserve our democracy. Thank you. May God protect
Oh, I
our
don't even
citizens.
believe in God.
Barton was acting about Biden's head looking like a green screen. No, I think, it was talked about, and then it was actually proven that when Trump was on screen and some of the MSNBC stuff, and I think CNN, they would actually saturate the color on the screen to make him look more orange. And I think they were trying that with Biden to make him look more tan instead of being such pasty white. And they kind of screwed it a little bit. I'm serious about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was proven. It was either CNN or MSNBC. Anytime they showed Trump, they would saturate the colors to make him look super orange because they had to go with the whole orange Cheeto bad guy. And I think they tried that on Biden to keep them from looking so goddamn pasty white, and they just made him look too tan. Let's see. We'll listen to the rest of this.
What makes you so confident you should be the president?
Notice he didn't answer that question. Get ready for combat. Why do all those games look so good in advertisements, and then when you look at them, it looks like fucking Super Mario Brothers?
That was President Biden criticizing the Supreme Court's decision on presidential immunity. We waited to see if he'd take some questions from the assembled reporters there. He chose not to. I want to go straight to our senior White House correspondent, Kelly O'Donnell, who joins us live now. Kelly, the president clearly upset, saying he dissents as well, like the minority in this case with the Supreme Court, clearly upset with the Supreme Court's decision today.
Very much so. And the president, who is a lawyer, was speaking with that experience, as well as someone who has possessed the powers of the presidency over the last.
Oh, hold on. That just made my head hurt. The president, who is a lawyer, it's the same dude who said he taught constitutional law and actually taught the Second Amendment, and then said you couldn't own a cannon at the time the Second Amendment was written.
Yep.
Even though people own cannons and mortars and bombs and everything else the military owned at the time, including fully functional warships. How dare this chick be a redhead and be that stupid? And I am definitely biased towards redheads. You see stupid redheads, it's just like, just dye your hair fucking blonde and get it over with.
Few years. Implicit in what he had to say is also a campaign argument that the president makes about the choice that voters would have in November. Of course, many people are wondering, what will that choice include? Will Joe Biden remain on the ticket? He did not take questions on that subject. He has not addressed it publicly beyond what we have seen so far at one rally in North Carolina and at some fundraisers where he intends to stay in the race. There are still questions for those in the Democratic Party about whether they will support him. And some are saying they.
And yes, Bob, it is completely legal to buy cannons to this day. It is completely legal to make your own cannons to this day. The only thing is we can't have those handy dandy explosive shells that they used to have, or the mortars or stuff like that. But yeah, it's completely legal to build your own cannon to this very day, which I've got some damn 2-inch extra heavy wall seamless pipe that I dearly need to build a cannon with. Now, a grape shot would actually be legal still. You just couldn't have the explosive rounds.
will wait for polling on this. This was an official speech from the president about the actions of another co-equal branch of government, the Supreme Court, and the president giving a warning that the power of the presidency would have no limits if a president does not use judgment, wisdom, and character. So an official statement from the president, but certainly campaign ideas, themes, and messages were implicit throughout his remarks. Tom?
All right, Kelly, stand by for us for more on the politics at play here.
How did Biden go? Hold on, let's share this tab. How did Biden go from this color on CNN, looking awful pasty there, buddy, to, let's roll back to him, to this, share this tab instead. Yeah. And they accused Donald Trump of spray tanning.
Oh, hey, we got a chick coming in for an interview for research tomorrow. Her name is Nova.
I don't know if he's got a spray tan, but I think he's got a lot of makeup on.
Could be, yeah.
Well, yeah. How does he go? How does he go from this?
He's got more makeup on.
To this. And it might be a makeup thing, but Jesus Christ, yeah. We live in the fucking Matrix.
President, but certainly campaign ideas, themes,
We
and
definitely live in the
messages
Matrix.
were implicit throughout his remarks. Tom?
All right, Kelly, stand by for us for more on the politics at play here. Let's bring in our senior Washington correspondent, Hallie Jackson. Hallie, throughout this speech, the president kept pointing to the people, right? The American people who will vote in November, saying they will have a say in this, that maybe there will be no trial in this case, but there will be some type of
say in this?
vote in November.
Yeah, he said it's going to be up to the voters, to the American people, who will render the ultimate judgment here in this character case that he has laid out, as Kelly so well noted, against former President Trump. That is central to the argument that the president has been making for months now, that his campaign has been making. I will tell you that today's ruling has triggered a deep sense of dissatisfaction among some Democrats, not just with the decision itself, but more broadly with the court. You had former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, for example, suggesting that the justices, in some instances, have gone rogue here. You even have Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez suggesting that perhaps she may seek to file articles of impeachment, presumably against some of the justices, when the House returns, when Congress gets back into session. That would be symbolic. The House is controlled by Republicans. It almost certainly wouldn't go anywhere. It gives you a sense of how frustrated I think some Democrats feel. On the flip side of the coin, you have former President Trump taking yet another victory lap here on this time. He is calling this decision a big win for him. And listen, to be clear, politically, it is, because this virtually assures that there will be no verdict in this federal election interference trial until after the November election. That is what he, that is what his team have wanted all along here, and it appears that that is what he is going to get. That's echoed by allies like House Speaker Mike Johnson, who's saying that this ruling is a victory now for the rule of law. So a lot of reaction, a lot of fallout from this monumental ruling today. And President Biden there in that very brief speech, again, as you note, no questions there, but really laying out what he sees as the stakes, not just today, but come November as well.
Hallie, I have a couple questions for you. You know, on the flip side, you were talking about a victory for the president because this means there's likely not going to be a trial before the election. We'll get into that with Danny Savalas, who's also standing by for us. But I want you to explain this to our viewers, right? Because there was a chance, and a good chance before this decision, he possibly could have to be in trial, in court, while the campaign was going on into November.
Yeah, that's right, because the judge in this particular case, again, the one brought by special counsel Jack Smith, had suggested that she would want to wait about 3 months from the time that she got the case back from the Supreme Court until the time they move forward with the trial. But here's the thing, for the reasons that you have laid out, for the reasons of the decision of the Supreme Court today, a lower court is going to have to sift through specifically what evidence may or may not be introduced here, given this roadmap that the Supreme Court justices have laid out between what is an official proceeding, what the former president did that can be considered among his core constitutional duties, and what is done in his private capacity, alleged crimes that he did in his unofficial capacity, acting not as president, but simply as a private citizen. That's going to take a minute. That's going to take a little bit of time. And that is why you are seeing this political win for the former president here as we head to November.
And let's talk about the optics here too, Hallie, right? The president clearly on defense right now because of that debate. There was an opportunity here to speak to the American people from the White House and again show a side that is completely opposite to what he showed at the debate.
And that is after that widely panned performance seen by many Democrats as simply, in a word, disastrous. His campaign has been scrambling to do some damage control here. So like you, Tom, I was interested to see, would the president maybe take a couple of questions? He hasn't done much off a teleprompter setting where he's reading from a script since that debate night. That obviously did not happen tonight. We'll see if that happens in the days ahead here. But what's also interesting here, Tom, even tonight, you have seen some top Democrats, right, members of the Senate, members of Congress, come out and say not publicly that they believe that the president should step aside. So far, we've heard that anonymously from some Democrats and in these op-eds from the New York Times, from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, suggesting that President Biden should step down and should be replaced on the ticket. But you're starting to hear concern about how, for example, some Democrats say they weren't really prepared for what they were going to see on Thursday night in the debate. You're hearing more vocal discussions about the conversations that are happening inside the
Unmute your mic, dummy. No, I I haven't heard anybody say they know what happened after the conference today, but by tomorrow morning, we should know whether they take up any of the assault weapons ban cases or any of the magazine ban cases. So we got tomorrow, and I'll be at work. I'll try to cover anything that I can, even if I just do a short on it. But yeah, we won't know till tomorrow. And then again, that's just this session for basically what they're trying to pick to argue for in October and all that. So, I mean, it doesn't mean the cases are dead. If they don't pick them up tomorrow, it just means that they're sitting on them like they're trying to hatch out a fucking egg, which is not good for us.
Democratic Party.
Yep.
The Biden campaign, as our colleague Kelly O'Donnell well knows, is pushing back vigorously on this. And you have First Lady Jill Biden, even today now, out in Vogue magazine, saying that the family does not believe that those 90 minutes on debate night should define the 4 years of the presidency so far, suggesting that
I'm telling you, Jill does not care how much she abuses this guy as long as she is in power and as long as she's getting the attention. She does not care. She knows Biden's a piece of shit. She's been married to a piece of shit forever. She doesn't care what happens.
Yep.
he and the family will continue to fight. And you are seeing that, of course, from the campaign tonight.
All right, Hallie Jackson for us. Hallie, appreciate that. For more on the legal aspect of this case, I want to bring in Danny Savalas tonight. Danny, Hallie was just explaining to us there about what the official and unofficial duties of the president are going to be, and that a lower court judge is going to decide that. What are they going to look like, and how do they exactly figure that out?
Well, the lower court will decide that on this particular January 6th federal case in D.C. And the judge has a real challenge because it is easy to say in principle that there's such a thing as official conduct and purely private conduct, and then maybe even these core executive functions. But actually applying them to the facts can get much thornier. Indeed, the Supreme Court even took some of these decisions out of Judge Chutkan's hands by saying on some of the indictment facts, you have the conversations with DOJ officials. Those are absolutely immune because they fall within that core executive function category. But you could take almost every exercise of executive power and call it either purely executive or motivated by private interests. Here's a further challenge. The Supreme Court says that you cannot look to motive. So arguably, even if an executive action has an evil motive underlying it, a purely personal interest motivating that executive action, the court appears to say that you cannot consider that. So this is a real challenge for the lower courts. And then the other three criminal cases, to the extent they have to do official action. Some do more than others. The Georgia case makes a lot of the same allegations that the District of Columbia case does. So that is probably the ripest for attack by the Trump defense team now that they've got a very favorable immunity ruling in their hands.
And Danny, briefly, because I want to get back to Kelly O'Donnell, who's got some new reporting. I do want to ask you, does this essentially kneecap, if you will, the January 6th case that Jack Smith brought against the president?
It does. And here's why.
Yes,
first, anything that is arguably core presidential conduct is out. And the Supreme Court already took some of that out. The conversations with high-level DOJ officials. That is no longer, that's absolutely immune.
And here's the thing. It's not just the immunity case that handicaps the Jan 6 stuff. It's the case that came out the other day about the obstruction cases for January 6th that completely kneecaps those cases. And hopefully we will see a bunch of people that are still locked up over January 6th get out. And hopefully, dear God, if there's any justice, we will see a bunch of those people sue the federal government and fucking win.
Mm-hmm.
Because they need to. You got an 80-something-year-old grandmother who was led into the Capitol by the police, walked through the rotunda, waving flags, stayed behind the velvet ropes, never heard a damn thing, and you're putting her in prison. She needs to be able to sue the government and completely rip them a new one. I know it's our tax dollars. I'll take that hit for her.
Yeah, but at 80 years old, she'll never see it.
No, probably not, brother. And you're 100% right.
That's
Because it'll
probably
get tied up in courts. Yeah, it'll get tied up in courts, and they'll.
I mean, unless she lives to be 100.
Yeah,
which is possible, but
it's possible. But hell, maybe I don't know. Maybe she has grandkids that aren't shitheads, and they'll get it. Or maybe she has great grandkids that aren't shitheads, and they'll get it. You know, something. But and that's the thing. The government has all the power and money in the world to prosecute you. Yep. All the resources, everything. Because even if they need more money, they just turn the printer on and they just print more money. And most American citizens can't fight that. They can't fund that fight. Look at Trump. Trump could actually fund a lot of that fight, but even as a billionaire, he can't keep up with the amount of shit the government throws at him. So,
unlimited resources.
Yeah. I mean, how is someone like me, so making less than $100,000 a year, how am I supposed to fight these people?
Go bankrupt.
Oh, yeah, in a hurry. You just go bankrupt and get your life destroyed, and then still the government, even if you win the case, you don't get that money back. You don't get restitution for it. Nothing. No. They just tell you, fuck off, suck it up, and your life's destroyed, and that prosecutor goes on to somebody else.
They say, okay, yeah, you won. Have a good life.
Yeah. That's why I think when the government, whether it's state, local, federal, when they lose a case, they should have to pay the other person's legal fees, any sort of restitution, any money that they lost from not being able to work. If they lost their house, guess what? The government's on the hook for that, their car, their whatever. Now, again, all that's coming out of tax dollars, but hopefully what it will do is take the budgets of these people and turn them into where they only take a case if it is 100% this person's guilty and they know they can win. Not these cases where we have this new legal theory and we think we can do this, so we're going to prosecute this person.
Yeah, quarter 10. I know you were talking about wanting to get out of here by 9:30, so you're already late.
Yeah, I'm late. We'll watch the rest of this, and I'm going to bounce. You know, guys, you know I can't stand this stuff.
I know.
I gotta look at it.
Well, I've seen what I wanted to see was what he says. All the commentary crap afterwards, I don't give a shit.
I'll tell you what, let's kill that, and then hell, we will get out of here. And I'm gonna take care of some kiddos and stuff, and then I'll finally get something to eat, and then I'll freaking get my happy ass to bed. I got to wake up in the morning, but yeah, this stuff's so freaking crazy, guys. You know, I don't know. I don't know where we land on the other end of this. I don't.
Who knows where we'll end?
Yeah, it's. I have my theories about what's going to happen at the DNC, who's going to step in, about the, you know, what the vote's going to look like this year. I've got my theories about all that. But I'm not QAnon. I'm not going to be the one telling you, well, it didn't happen this month. It'll happen next month, or maybe it'll be next week. If I'm wrong, no, I'm going to freaking admit it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of reading what I'm seeing. And when you see, say, someone like Gavin Newsom come out and they are fiercely defensive of Biden, we're going to filling out a job application at that point. And when you see a performance from Biden like we did last Thursday, all of us have probably seen this guy can't walk from the helicopter to the White House without being lost. He gets lost on a stage when he has two directions to go, left or right. And
He
some
can't
of the
walk
time
from the South Lawn back into the White House by himself.
Yeah. So I mean, we've all, especially anybody who's followed me, of course, we've all seen his mental decline. And it's hard. You guys tell me, is it hard for you guys to believe that other people aren't seeing that?
Well, it's hard for me to watch, really and true, because I mean, if you're thinking about this, I'm almost the same as Glenn Beck. Right now, it's not about Republican or Democrat.
Right.
It's about the world looking and seeing that our president is this weak.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Like I said, at this point, it's not about, you know, him being a Democrat or whatever. It's about him being incapable of doing the job and what it looks like on the world stage. I mean, if I was Kim Jong-un or Putin or whatever, I'd be like, okay, I'm going full-fledged into Turkey. Yes. I'm going full-fledged into South Korea. You know, what's the United States going to do? They got an idiot for president right now.
Oh, no doubt. Go ahead, Outlaw.
I'll do y'all both one better. I don't even think the people you're dealing with are Democrats or Republicans. I think they're entirely different, you know.
New World Order.
Yeah, I think it's something entirely different. You know, you go back and compare these people to the classical Democrats and classic Republicans. They don't resemble anything alike.
No,
you know, these people up there now, they're just an entirely different political breed altogether, like tyrants.
Well, you can go all the way back to before the founding of this country when we started arguing about constitutions and things like that, where you had people that were completely what I call statists. They believed in the government over the individual, period. Whether it was a monarchy, whether it was a democracy, whatever they wanted to call it, they believed in the state more than they did the people. These people have always existed. There were plenty of people back in the time when our Constitution was getting argued about and getting debated, where they wanted another monarchy in the United States, even though they knew where the monarchy went in Europe and in plenty of other countries in history. So I'll argue with you to a point that these people have always existed.
Yeah.
The thing we run into now is you have 24-hour media that runs cover for them.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest changes that we run into these days is you have a government where no matter what they do, you have a mainstream media that is doing nothing but 24-hour coverage about how good the government is, how good Biden did in the debate, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's
damage control.
Yeah. It's lie. Yeah, it's lie after lie after lie. Now, this is again, because the media has been running cover for Biden for over 5 years now. Since when he started running, when he went through the election, when he got elected, they've been running cover for him forever.
Yep.
Now we're seeing this negative coverage pop up.
Because the Democrats are allowing it.
Yeah, and I go back to the fact that, you know, the Hur report, they let that stuff stay in the Hur report. They pretty much let Hunter Biden go ahead and get convicted. It's building the road or the off ramp to move Biden out and the on ramp to move someone else in. is what this amounts to at this point. Now, if you see Biden stick with it, then they know 100% that the cheat's in, and there was nothing to worry about. They could elect a corpse and still push him across the finish line.
Yeah.
You know, if they switch to someone like a Gavin Newsom, you can be sure that they know the cheat's in. But Gavin Newsom can at least string a sentence together. As much of the idiot shit as he says, he can be kind of charismatic. He can string a sentence together. He can answer a question.
That's how he's gotten elected every year.
Yes.
He knows how to talk.
So
he's a bullshitter.
Yeah. So take California, stretch it out like a rubber, and stick it over a freaking cucumber, and that's what America is going to be. And where I came up with that analogy, good luck figuring that out. Because I just come up with shit off the top of my head. It's the way my brain works. It is what it is. But it's
like he said, the New World Order, right? You know, Agenda 2030 and 2021, all that good stuff. Yeah, that's the playbook's right
the
there.
New World Order has been trying to play itself out since what, the 20s or 30s?
Yes, at least the 20s, actually.
Someone there?
Because it's all globalist. It
was always a long-term plan.
The mass depopulation agenda.
And that's something you can say for Democrats. So Republicans will have a 2-year plan, a 1-year plan, a 4-year plan. The left in this country, the statists, have 100-year plans. They don't care how many times they lose a year, as long as 10 years from now they win.
I just wish the damn Republicans would come out with, their own budgets, their own this, their own that. I mean, you got to hand it to the Democrats. They will at least throw something out there done. Whether it's a shitty budget or not, it's still a budget. The Republicans are like, well, we've got one. We're just not letting it go. Okay.
Yeah, you're right, and what Chess was posting down here is 100% right. So Biden, hell, you can go look at fucking C-SPAN, and you can see decade after decade after decade of Biden being a complete racist retard.
Oh yeah.
But very few people will actually bring that up. Very few people will actually do the research. Matter of fact, one of these nights, I'll have to go back and look to see which one I want to do. We might do one of the hearings after Waco. That's one of the ones I've watched it before. I seriously want to go back and watch it. Just to see how these people reacted right after Waco. And then you see nothing after that. Biden's the same way. Saying all the racist shit in the world. And then it's just like it never existed.
Yep. My kids will never go to that jungle school or whatever he said.
He said he didn't want his kids growing up in a racial jungle, was one of the comments. Now, he had plenty of other comments that were way more racist. And if you look at the way that he treated Clarence Thomas during the Clarence Thomas hearings, when they accused him of all sorts of sexual assault and all this other shit, if you see, because Biden was running those hearings, if you see the way he treated Justice Thomas, there's no doubt this dude is a racist piece of shit. And never mind, I think her name was Tara Reid, the one that credibly accused him of sexual assault. if you listen to Dan Bongino, who I have in the past, and I haven't listened to him in a while, but he was talking about, again, Biden being such a fucking perv around female Secret Service agents that they couldn't leave a female agent alone with him, which I can believe because he sniffs and grabs every goddamn thing he gets near, as long as it's usually underage. Whole nother story.
Yeah.
But it again, it's we get back to this whole thing where the media will cover for it,
Mm-hmm.
and then most people won't do very basic research. So the media blowing up at Biden and finally saying, hey, this dude needs to go. You had a report of like White House staffers. Now, anytime Biden has walked to like Marine One or something in the last little while, he has been surrounded by staffers to basically either block the view of him or keep him on track. Because they know he's fucking lost. But the report was these White House staffers feel like they've been lied to. They didn't realize Biden was that bad. And it's like, how did you not? It's like watching fucking hours and hours of my stream and going, fuck, I didn't know Coop smoked.
I didn't know he drank Bud Light.
Hey, not Bud Light.
I am, Coop, I am more and more thoroughly convinced it's all about psychological manipulation of the masses. It's training people to see it the way they want you to see it, not, get the herd all riled up. Because, even a herd of cattle is dangerous when they get riled up.
Oh, dude.
They treat us like cattle.
It's no different than the week or so before the debate when people were posting stuff about like Barack Obama having to lead Biden off stage because Biden froze up, or Jill having to lead him off stage. And what did the White House say? Keon Jean Pierre, whatever fuck her little midget name is, was like, these are deep fakes. These are AI. It's all edited video. Which, again, for me is kind of why I like doing the whole long form stuff and watching things in their entirety. Because I don't edit stuff. I just bring up the videos and we watch them. Mostly because I just hate video editing with a passion. Like
I'm
with
bombing you.
Big passion. Okay, I see you, brother.
I don't blame you. I do too. I hate it.
It's I'm gonna find a program that I had one on my last computer before it died that was actually pretty good, and I've got one on my phone, the iMovie or whatever it is. It's really good as far as editing video, but I need another desktop program that I actually like, and then I need more time to where I can sit down and actually, edit a video. And I don't make the time for it. If I'm not doing a live stream with you guys, I'm with kids or I'm out doing something or I'm at work, and kind of all over.
And I agree with you 100%. I'm the same way, that I don't make the time to do it.
that is a huge.
It's not that I don't have the time.
Well, it's like I was
making the time.
Yeah, I was talking to a dude the other day. I can't remember whether I mentioned on stream yet or not. And we were talking about Chris from the 740 and his channel growth and how Chris is doing this. And the dude mentioned something about, I'd like to take notes from him. And I told him it's pretty simple. Chris takes the time to put in the work. He spends the money on his cameras. He edits, he produces this stuff. And my heart just ain't.
He jumped on a bunch of live streams.
Well, some of the stuff, even him jumping on a bunch of live streams, doesn't matter as much as the edited video that he puts out, the quality of his stuff, because Chris does awesome stuff. I mean, he's the one with a drone sitting there tracking him as he's going through a shooting video or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He just puts in. He has got to put in at least a full work week doing his video as he does actually working in his main job. He is that dedicated to this. And for me, I'd rather come on with you guys and hang out, watch some stuff like we did tonight, and shoot the breeze.
Yeah.
I'm not that dedicated to this. And
I think that's it.
Partially because I never thought my channel would last this long.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I figured I would have been banned over a year ago with some of the streams that I do and talking about these politicians and things like that. So,
well, I've told the guys that watch my channel, I'm like, yeah, it takes a certain type of individual to do content like this.
It really does.
I think.
Yeah, like doing this, getting back to Chris, doing the production value or the production work that Chris does is an insane amount of work. It really is, to go out and film, have the proper equipment to film, then go back in and edit, and then turn around and produce a very solid video. I've done some things where I went back in or went and filmed and edited and stuff like that, and I just ain't about that life right now. Maybe later on I will be, but for right now, I'd rather get on here, drink, smoke, shoot shit with you guys, and talk about the crap that's going on. So, and you look at a lot of the real big guys. I mean, look at if you followed Brandon Herrera in 2018, and then look at where his production value is going now. It's insane how good that's gotten. Or Grand Thumb. If you followed Grand Thumb very early on, and then you look at him now, his production value, his video, the skits that he does are freaking insane. I mean, as far as being good. So basically, kids, if you want a huge channel, get cameras, be ready to video edit like a SOB, and don't drink, smoke, and cuss on camera. Just saying.
Yep, I've already failed that one.
Oh, I failed it horribly.
I cuss like a motherfucker on camera.
I will too. The only time it makes me feel bad is I've been on a couple other streams with people where I was on their stream, and they caught me in that mood where my sense of humor was just off the rails. And I've talked about it before, when stupid stuff's going on and I'm stressing and my sense of humor goes nuts.
Yeah.
And my mouth is real quick with my sense of humor, kind of like the condom cucumber joke earlier. No idea where it comes from. It just comes out. It is extremely fast. And sometimes I can stop it. Sometimes I really, really suck at stopping it. And it just runs out there. There's plenty of jokes behind that.
Well, I have this bad habit of saying what's on my mind.
Yes.
And not giving a fuck.
Yeah, if we're catch me in the right mood, we're playing word association, you're going to hear some shit. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Ah! Where the hell that? Hey, you asked me.
And I know all you good men are the same way.
Oh, most of us are.
We've reached a point where we're just sick and tired of being lied to, man.
It is, we are definitely to that point, man. And if you've woken up and you see the manipulation that happens to us every single day, I think I said on stream a while back, it really is like the Matrix. I wish I could plug back in, but I can't. Yeah. Once your eyes are open, there ain't no plugging back into it.
No.
You can't take your eyes off of it. Especially when you've got skin in the game. You can't. Who is Harry Sessions on X. He's a big fucking douchebag. But he's like 19 or so. He's this big Biden proponent. Said Biden did great in the debate the other day. He kicked ass. And there's one thing you can fault me for is I'm going to tell you what's on my mind, and I'm going to be honest about it.
Yeah.
And there's no way I could get that to fall out of my face, not with a straight face, and not without some serious sarcasm. But he was there straight faced. Matter of fact, I found it like last night. He was on Pierce Morgan, and I can't stand Pierce Morgan, but the clip came up and I started looking at it, and there's Harry Sessions talking about how great Biden did in the debate, and he was really on topic, and it's like, what world are you from? Because it ain't this one.
Like I said, man, I'm just convinced the older I get, the more I see this bullshit. It's really about just keeping the herd calm and telling them what they need to keep us from rioting. And
it's bread and circuses, man.
Yeah.
One of the guys, another guy I follow on YouTube, Legal Man, which I did a show with him one night, been over a year ago, I think. And he posted something and I posted on it, and I was like, yeah, as long as the sports ball keeps playing and there's this or that, yeah, people aren't going to pay attention to any of this.
Yep.
They can tell you every freaking stat from their famous sports ball player, but can't tell you what grocery prices are. Or they'll bitch about him when they go get food for the game. Oh, these chicken wings are super expensive now. And then they don't actually run that thought out to see why they're that expensive.
Yep.
And those are the ones who really drive me up a freaking wall. But anyway, guys, let me get out of here. Outlaw, where can they find you, brother?
I am over on MGTOW Outlaw, obviously on YouTube. I'm on Odyssey, Rumble. If you want to connect with me, I'm also on Gilded and Discord. I have a backup channel, Southern Fried Nostalgia.
Matter of fact, while we're at it, dude, post your channel in the chat. You got a wrench, and everybody else with a wrench who's got a channel, you know how I roll. Post your stuff in the chat. All right. Because I really do. Again, I want you guys to get your stuff out there. Chess, post yours in the chat. Morris, I think you started one up. Post yours in the chat. Everybody, if you got a wrench, post that stuff. Because I'm nowhere near a big channel, but I want all of you guys to be able to connect. This is the Blue Wrench Mafia, kids. If you hang out long enough and you're cool and you prove you're not an absolute idiot, you'll get a wrench. I need to do a bunch of plasma cuts with blue wrenches. That may be some when I get my shop back together. That's what I gotta do one night. It's just program like a whole 4x8 sheet of like 10 gauge and just do wrenches.
Hell yeah.
Start sending them out. Because I don't know. And until freaking someone gets a wrench and goes absolutely retarded where we got to revoke a wrench. If anybody's in here, you're cool. Even if you disagree, as long as you're cool about it, you'll get a wrench. Because I want you to be able to post stuff. As long as you don't post, again, as long as you don't post some absolutely racist shit, I almost don't care what you post. Share the channels, do whatever. That's about the one real line that I've got. And that's just me. So I don't care about language. I don't care about other things. Just don't be a racist prick. That's basically the one rule of the whole thing. All right. So everybody got everything posted. Trad, where can we find you, brother? Tread, if you're talking, you're muted.
Looks like he just posted his channel.
I'm not muted. I'm not
Well, tell
muted.
everybody
Am I
where they can
muted?
find it. No, we got you now.
I don't know. Anyway, I posted my link. I might be putting some tractor stuff.
Oh, speaking of, how did you guys like that Tractor Supply video?
Yours? I don't think I saw it yet.
It's a topic for another discussion, but yeah, they basically went woke and
Yeah,
now
I've
yep,
seen
now
a
they're
few things on it with their diversity training and all that. Now they're backing off everything because they figured out the people that buy their products aren't necessarily in that life.
I mean, for fuck's sakes, it's a hardware / agriculture.
Yes.
You know, people. Again, I don't know what people do for a living, and I don't care who they sleep with, but at the same time, it's a blue collar company.
Very much so.
But
anyway, let's get out of here, guys. Where's it at? Where's it at? Of course, it's sitting underneath something. So anyway, we'll end it like we always do, guys. I love you guys. You guys be cool. You perps keep that thing on you at all times. And hopefully, if everything goes smooth, tomorrow, 3 o'clock-ish, maybe, in the afternoon, we're going to go over the Chevron deference stuff and start to break some of that down. So we'll see. It depends on how things go, but that's my plan at this point. Whether or not it goes to hell, it might. Anyway, you guys be cool, man. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, guys. Peace.
Later everybody.